On this episode of the Stogie Geeks Show, new Palio cutters, cigars that I miss, especially Tatuaje RC 184s, the year of the tiger, how not to choose a cigar or choose a cigar, Padron 95th, cigar smoking TV and movie characters. What should I try next? All that and more in this episode of the Stogie Geeks Show.
This is Security Weekly. For security professionals, by security professionals. Broadcasting live from G-Unit Studios in Rhode Island, it's the show where cigars burn slow, ashes fall fast, and cocktails flow steady. It's the Stogie Geeks Show. Welcome, everyone, to the Stogie Geeks Show. Joe and I are already silly.
Oh, yeah.
Joe Hozempa, a.k.a. Joe Hollywood, is here with me in studio.
I'm fired up. So we also have Remote Drew, who is remote over in Texas. Look at you. You got some Stogie Geek swag going on in the background.
Got my banner?
Where are you?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I'm all set up for the Stogie Geek mobile lounge.
Confidence. Confidence isn't walking into a room with your nose in the air, thinking you're better than anyone else. It's walking into a room and not having to compare yourself to anyone in the first place.
Cigars, perfected for more than 150 years. Yours to enjoy now.
Havana Cigar Club, located in Warwick, Rhode Island, is a great place to enjoy a drink and a cigar. Stogie Geeks listeners can find a $5 off coupon on our website by clicking the HCC logo.
Welcome, everyone, to the Stogie Geek Show. It's episode number 368, being recorded on March 25th, 2022. I've assembled the cast and crew here of the Stogie Geeks right here around this table. Adrian couldn't join us this week, but to my left is Mr. Joe Hozempa.
What's going on?
Also known as Joe Hollywood. What happened? We gotta bring the Joe Hollywood
Joe
back.
Hollywood. Yeah.
We bring it back.
We should bring it back. I guess I was more flashier in my day.
You gotta be flashier. You gotta, you need the t-shirt and the sport coat.
Is that what I need to do?
That's the look.
Well, it's still a little cold down here, so I got the I got the I can still golf in 32 degree weather,
right.
and like a thermal and whatnot. But yeah, it's not as flashy in the winter.
Mr. Bill Brenner,
What's
down
happening?
from Massachusetts, is here with us. What's up, man?
Doing well.
Yeah,
How are you today? How is everybody?
We're good.
We're going into April.
Spring is here. Spring is here. We're gonna
Green
golf,
all
maybe.
around.
Do you golf? Do you guys golf?
Yes.
A little bit.
A little bit. Jason Albuquerque's here with us.
Hello there.
He's the.
I have a 10-year-old, soon to be 11-year-old, who kicks my ass in golf.
I think your son kicks your ass in
Pretty much everything.
A lot of
Pretty much
extracurricular
everything.
activity is fishing.
Pretty much
He definitely kicks your ass in
everything.
fishing. Yeah.
I've come to that realization as a dad that I'm just going to become an enabler now.
Yes.
You get to that point where you're just like, I'm going to enable him to be successful.
That's your job as a leader, my friend.
It is every parent's dream that their
Yeah.
kids surpass them in things good
true.
and bad.
No doubt. No
My
doubt.
son's not very good at cigar smoking, though. I will say I'm taking the cake on that. He found I pulled a moldy cigar out of my humidor, and being the curious teenager, he lit it. He tried to light it up, and he lit the wrong end and stuff. Like,
I'm failing you as
I
a
don't
father.
think he smoked it. I think he was just trying to light it on fire.
So
Yeah.
Paul, my son and I go fishing over the weekend. We're on the lake in the canoe, and I break out a nice Room 101 naked booth, and I'm like, all right, we're gonna catch some fish. And I light the cigar up. I'm in the back. I'm paddling along. He turns around. He looks at me. He goes, Dad, I just want to let you know, I really love the smell when you smoke cigars.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh boy, here we go.
I think there's two camps on that. There's people that love the secondhand cigar smoke and will go out of their way to tell you how good it smells. and then there's the people that hate it, and they will also go out of their way to tell you how much they hate it.
But I think I'm grooming a future cigar smoker. Is what I think I'm doing.
Yes. Some people though enjoy the smell but don't like smoking them.
Yeah. Maybe.
A lot of people tell me that.
That could be it.
You can tell I smoke a lot in like mixed company because I don't give a shit.
Right.
I'm like whatever.
Yeah, that's it. Who cares?
We're outside. If we're outside, I'm lighting up.
Yeah.
I will tell you.
We caught a lot of pickerel. We caught a lot of pickerel. So
a lot of pickerel. Well, you know the water's a little chillier,
right.
and when the pickerel thrive in that little chillier environment, the bass tend to, they're like the fat people. They tend to hibernate.
They wallow at the bottom.
Wallow at the bottom with their big bellies.
Blump, blump, blump.
And then the water has to be like the perfect temperature, usually around May, and that's when you slay.
It's not lunker season yet.
No. And then it gets in the summer, and then it's challenging to catch a lot of things. Yeah, kind of evens out. I'm looking forward to fishing this year.
Man, good time. And then we're gonna put the boat in the water here soon, so we can go do some
sea, deep sea, not deep sea,
but in the bay,
saltwater fishing.
Yeah, saltwater fishing in the bay. Get some striper, it'd be nice. 'Tis the season, baby.
Let me know when you go. Mm-hmm. I'll totally drag my teenager out of bed at 5 o'clock in the morning.
Let's do it.
They love that.
Let's do it.
Put him on the boat, even in the summer. It's cold on the water.
Right. Be curled up on the front. Wake me up later.
Jason and I'll have our cigars going.
That's it.
That's good.
That's it. Jason will be out catching fish. That's all he cares about.
Right? Oh, boy. So where do you guys want to start? What do you want to start talking about? Oh, let's start talking about what we're smoking.
Hey,
it's almost like I forgot how to do podcasts. Jesus. So I pulled out my Cubans because they're pretty well aged, and apparently I like all you folks because I pulled out my vintage Cuban collection for us to smoke on the show. These boxes do not have many cigars in them as well, and apparently to replace them, like prices have gone way up for Cuban cigars. Not that we're supposed to necessarily have these here in the United States. We're just going to gloss over that fact and just say my friend brought them back from Cuba.
I thought Obama lifted the embargo.
No, he eased. You need Congress. That has to be like a formal bill to do that. Right. The president can pass executive orders that slightly lessens some of or strengthens the portions of the embargo, but the president alone cannot lift or put back the embargo by
and
themselves.
Then from an operational side, they can determine how strict
the
administration of the government will be enforcing, right?
Trump was kind of like loosey. No, Trump tightened up the embargo stuff.
Yeah.
Obama was a little loosey-goosey with it. Like, I don't know, where it's still a communist country as well. There's still not great things that are happening in Cuba. I mean, the Cuban people are outstanding and amazing in their own right, but people get upset when we're like, oh, we should just like lift the embargo. Like, there's a lot of Cuban people who are here in the U.S. because of like reasons of they did not want to live there. So, again, I said this on my last podcast. I am not a political expert by any stretch of the imagination. And like what I just described, there is a whole series of podcasts and people that know way more about it than I do that you should go listen to. So if like what you listen to, I just said, you're like, well, there's yes, I agree. There's way more to it than that. Joe?
Back in the Obama administration, I did a segment on Cigar Club Radio of the restrictions and Obama loosening them up. And if you check my Facebook or Twitter, posted an article from Cigar Aficionado. They under the Obama administration, they let the kind of the different cruise lines finally go to Cuba, and now they're being sued because they did commerce in Cuba.
Really
fascinating.
Oh my God.
Fascinating interview over that the Cigar Aficionado did. So you can check that out. I'll post that to the Discord at some point after the show.
So Joe, you're smoking a Partagas Series D number 4.
I think I'm smoking a Quorum Havana.
It doesn't taste like a...
I don't know. This is suspect, man.
It's suspect, right?
Yeah. This is... I'm smoking the Quorum Havana bundle edition.
It does not taste... This whole box did not taste like Partagas Series D number 4.
This is my
just throwing that out there.
Professional palate opinion.
Yeah.
Do you know how Cubans have like the air of metallic salt, if you will? I honestly think
metallic salt.
No. Like on your palate, it's a metallic smoke, and it runs a little salty.
Okay.
Right. I think that someone took a salt shaker and put this on like a Dominican cigar, and this is what this is.
Yeah.
I think so. But
The box date on this is October 16. Sorry, it was upside down.
Oh.
October 16. But this whole bot, ever since I got it, I'd smoke one or two. And I'm like, that doesn't taste like a Parga Series D number 4.
no, do you think? I was gonna say, do you think it aged out?
No,
I mean, no.
Since I got the box, no, I didn't get the box in 2016.
Okay.
It already had a year or two on it, probably when I got it.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it just never tasted right to me.
Yeah, it's a little suspect, but
Yeah. Let's see. Jason and I are smoking El Rey del Mundo Choice Supreme.
And would you say 2018?
This is June 2017.
It's 2017.
On there. These are the Robusto sized cigars. Yeah, these are all pretty popular sizes. All three brands and sizes are like pretty popular in terms of like what you want to smoke for Cuban cigars. So this is like a classic Choice Supreme.
Yeah. To Joe's point, I definitely have that little salty flavor to it.
yeah, it's to me, Cubans run like more of a film on my palate. It lingers more.
Yep.
The smoke is a little bit denser, and it comes across as salty. Right.
Yeah, totally.
So, like I said, but I don't know if I'm enjoying this yet. I don't know if I'm gonna throw in the towel.
Is yours staying lit, Jason?
No.
This is like a really bad podcast cigar, because if as I'm talking, like it wants to go out.
It
on
does
itself.
want to go.
Okay,
Yeah.
it's not just me.
I agree.
I
This
think the
is-
humidity on it is perfect. I don't think it's
agreed.
yeah.
Agreed.
It's
But
not. It's not environmental,
But what I will tell you, this is the third light since I started.
and that can ruin an experience. I am getting those nice Cuban cedar notes
Yep.
from it
Tasty
when it
but-
wants to stay lit.
Tasty, but yeah, doesn't want to stay lit.
Yours too, because you've got yet a different one.
He's
Bill.
got a Bolivar, right?
Yeah,
I do.
you have. Hold on, I got this box over here now.
Bolivar.
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 Royal Corona? Yeah, Bolivar Royal Coronas. Also, like all three of these cigars are a Robusto. Might be slightly different ring gauges in length, but they're all Robusto sized. It's the Bolivar Royal Coronas, which I like the best out of all these three. This is October 2018 on there. I like the Royal Coronas. Bellicoso Finos are a little more expensive. Probably have a
May I?
slight up
I
on
think
the.
I think it just
I got
check the
more
butane.
lighters over here,
Yeah,
guys.
if you can.
Joe, you want to pass some of those lighters down?
that one has feeling.
We got all kinds of weapons,
kinds of toys.
flames, and torches. So everyone's cigar smoking good though. Construction wise,
Construction-wise, yep.
mine was good. Again,
Yep.
it's that like I just
It's the relights. It's the relights.
It still feels like it wants to go out. Like when
Yeah.
did I say that? Like a minute or two ago.
Right.
You definitely want something that stays lit when you're doing a podcast because you're talking. You're not just focusing on your cigar.
Right,
you're
right.
conversing and talking.
Otherwise, you just to keep it lit.
You got to get closer to your mic, Bill. We want to hear your sultry voice, my friend. There you go.
To keep it lit, you're sucking really hard, and then people start making
Jokes, inappropriate.
jokes on the
Jokes.
Discord channel,
Yes. Yes.
which I welcome, by the way.
We do have a Discord channel. Should join it. So I don't know. We put it on the Stogie Geek site, but if you go to securityweekly.com/Discord, you can join our Discord server. There's a channel for Stogie Geeks in there. I mean, this does taste really good.
It does.
I wish it had a little more oomph to it. It's
Yeah,
kinda,
I think it's aging, right? So I think it's maybe losing some of the flavor, but heavy on the salty right now. And I'm still
No, it's picking up though. It's picking
I'm
up.
still only on the first third though, right?
Yeah.
So
Well, I just got past that first third.
yeah.
Because I lit mine a little sooner than you did, and the flavors are starting to come alive on it. It's taking a little time to open up.
Yep.
Got a little bit of that earth,
Good
that
so far.
earthiness coming in.
Good so far.
It's good stuff. Look at us complaining about our Cuban cigars, right? I was sitting around here smoking vintage Cuban cigars,
Holy first world
complaining like a
problems.
bunch of old ladies at the bridge table, right?
It's possible we all have entitlement issues at the table.
Yeah,
here.
yeah, for sure.
I will say it does pair very well with this red breast.
Yeah. Let's talk about what we're
And it
drinking.
also, mine pairs very well with Red Bull.
Red Bull. I mean, that's it's a pairing.
We got red breast, he's got Red Bull. It's all good.
I mean, you could mix the two together, but that would be
as the sober guy in the room.
That would be terrible.
Terrible.
The Redbreast Lustau is their Redbreast whiskey aged in a sherry cask or finished in a sherry cask. I think they start it in a different cask and then they transfer it to the sherry cask for a sherry cask finish, I believe. I could be wrong on it. I didn't read the box when I opened it on Wednesday and drank half the bottle myself. More than half the bottle, apparently. Other people had to be drinking. No, Johnny
there wasn't much left, buddy.
Johnny definitely had at least one glass. But that's not a lot. I drank a lot of it on Wednesday night.
It's that good.
It's one of my favorite whiskeys lately, actually. It's not overly expensive. And the Lustau, that's the Redbreast that you guys are drinking, because I drank enough of it already. I drink this Bullet that someone gave me. This is barrel strength Bullet.
Yeah. You know, I really like
It's really good.
I like their rye. Have you ever had that rye whiskey? Bullet rye?
Yes, that's good too.
So I had that with a 2017
I like a rye
EP Carrillo.
Rye Manhattans are good too.
Yeah.
If you're into the cocktail, or you were just drinking bourbon, which is nothing wrong with that.
I was just drinking it.
You had a what now? EP Carrillo?
EP Carrillo 2017 Encore, and that paired really, really well together.
I haven't been smoking a lot of EP Carrillos lately.
No.
I need to get back on.
I just got a couple more of those unbanded.
Dude,
spicy, really spicy.
It's
good.
a great segue into cigars that I miss.
Yeah.
Like, I cannot find now two cigars that come to mind since you mentioned Carrillo. I'll start with that one.
Yeah.
EP Carrillo, New Wave Reserva.
Okay.
In the Toro size.
Yeah.
Now, I think I can find boxes of them, but they're kind of pricey right now. I used to buy those online in bundles of 25, and I used to pay like $90, $100 for the bundle. And I would, if they had 3 bundles in stock, I bought all 3 bundles, at least 2, maybe 3 times, multiple bundles in one purchase, and that was their entire stock.
Yeah,
and I would just buy out their entire stock, and so I've smoked hundreds of those cigars, and I mean, 95% of them just freaking smoked awesome.
Yeah,
they're so consistent, reasonably priced, and amazing flavor, nice cedar notes. It's a really good Connecticut. It's not a weak Connecticut. It's a medium kind of strength Connecticut.
Yep.
Like, for the longest time, it was my go-to, most favorite cigar to smoke. And then now I can't. If I find them, there's like one box, and it's like $200+ for the box. And like, that's probably a fair price for those cigars, right? But like, since I bought them on bundles so much before, I hesitate to pull the trigger. I don't even know if you could find. I haven't looked recently, but
aside from the pork tenderloin, I'm going to use that caveat probably from now on.
That's a question for me.
No, one of the cigars that I really, really miss, and I got it from here on a Security Weekly podcast. You gave me 2 of them, I believe. It was an EP Carrillo 2015 short run.
Oh yeah,
yep.
Bomb cigar.
Yes.
Holy shit!
I still have some. I'll dig them up.
Do you really?
Yeah, I think I've got some kicking around. We might have smoked all the ones in this humidor. I might have another box in my. I picked those up on closeout.
So good.
Yeah,
so good.
Had Paul's had 15 and 13. 13 was better in my opinion. But just FYI, EP Carrillo just released another short run series this year as well.
They did. Yes.
So. I found them. I'm actually having one tonight at 6:06 p.m. Eastern Standard Time.
6:06. That's very specific, Joe.
Yes.
Well, you know, I run a very complex life, Paul. You know,
you got your
schedule.
schedule
Everything. You have to schedule everything. Don't you?
6:06 will be EP Carrillo short run.
Nice.
It's now 12:30. 12:31 might be the new stick because I don't think this is cutting it. But
and you're gonna have sex with the wife at 8:37 p.m. Is that?
I'll be done by 8:38.
8:40 we're done. Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome. But that was a really good cigar.
Oddly specific.
And I paired it. You know what I paired it with? I paired it with Nika.
What'd you pair it with, Jason?
Nika from the Barrel.
Nika from the
Japanese whiskey.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, really good.
Yeah,
I've
really
not delved into the Japanese whiskey recently.
Nika,
I see
Nika
them
from
there.
The Barrel is the best.
There's a bunch of characters on them that I don't understand, and they're like really expensive. So I tend to stay away from it. And I go to the bourbon. You know, I mean that could also be because apparently when I sit down with a bottle of whiskey, I drink 3/4.
You drink 3/4 in one shot.
It can be really expensive.
Right. You don't remember that you enjoyed it.
Right.
But no, Nika from the Barrel, really, really good Japanese whiskey. Hard to find. I ended up finding it in this back-ass liquor store in New Hampshire. And they had 5 on the shelf. I bought all 5. I bought all 5, yeah. Yeah.
See, I didn't get a chance to stop at a liquor store in New Hampshire. Did I? No, I didn't. Our schedule when we go away as a family is insane. There's no time.
I make time.
Like 6:06, we're going to the pool. 7:31, we're having dinner. Right? Like, yeah.
It reminds us of the last day when we check out over at Hilton Head. When we go there for a week or two, and like we're swimming in the pool like an hour before checkout. I'm like, we got plenty of time. It's
Right?
your last chance. You know what I mean?
No, we do that too. One cigar I thought of. Oh, because did I link to it? I might have. Because there's a new one.
Tatuaje?
RC series. So I saw this article first on Half Wheel, and it was the Tatuaje RC series. Oh, and this is what made me break out the Cubans, because the Tatuaje RC series stands for Retro Cuba.
Yeah.
So it was kind of like Pete Johnson set out on this mission to go, if I were to blend a cigar with non-Cuban tobacco and get as close to as I can to a Cuban cigar, what would that look like? His answer to that was the RC series. I think he did a pretty decent job, actually, like not having Cuban tobacco in it. He did a pretty decent job. And it's got the label on it is really awesome too, like awesome coloring and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Just classy looking cigars, but simple, not over the top.
It's a retro band too. It's really cool.
Yes, it's really cool. So that debuted in 2005. For the longest time, it was only made up of 2 Vitolas, because this is how I remember it. And they were large perfectos packaged with half the cigar covered in foil. A 7 1/4 by 57 RC 184. I want to say 7 1/4 is 184 millimeters, and that's how I came up with the numbers. I'm pretty sure. And then he had a 9 1/8 by 55 RC 233. This cigar is massive, dude. It's massive.
Yeah.
Not as good. I mean, just the overall size of it, like, it's almost like a chore to smoke it. And I feel like some of the flavors got lost in the 233. Now, I've had some 184s over the years that have had some age on them, and they're some of like the best cigars I ever smoked, but I forget about them because they don't really make a whole in fact, I went online and I looked, and I'm like, if I wanted to buy an RC 184, what would that look like? Every site, like 2 pages worth of Google results, every single site is sold out. Yeah. They list them, but they're all sold out. And I've not seen that cigar, like physically laid my eyes on a 184.
No,
because I bought a box and I smoked through the whole thing. I think I ended up buying one, like I bought a bunch of Signals because there was some aged boxes back at Joyle's in the back in the day, and I would buy. I'm like, I gotta have more of those. And like, let me try a 233. It's good, not as good. Give me a whole box of 184s. I'll take those. And I smoked them all. I don't think there's not one left in my humidor. Like, I don't remember seeing one, which is a shame because it's one of, when I think about it, it's like one of my favorite cigars to smoke. So, but what spawned all this nostalgia was the new RC series. So November 2016, there would be new sizes: RC number 1, number 2, and number 3. I'm reading from Half Wheel on this, right? So you've got the RC series number 1, 2, and 3, and these are not the perfect. These are 4 3/4 by 52, 5 5/8 by 54, 6 1/2 by 56 size cigars. Not much on the wrapper is Ecuadorian Habano, it looks like. Nicaraguan binder and filler. And then so it got a 90. So he says, I smoked a few of the original RC series before that review. Now, see, he still has some left in his humidor. Like, good for you, man. Like, I couldn't keep those in my humidor. This is Brooks from Half Wheel. Like, good for you, Brooks, man. I'm proud of you for saving some of those.
Patience. He's got patience.
Creamy, spicy, blah, blah, blah.
Overall score 90.
Overall, that's a good score.
Right.
That's a good score. So now I'm on a mission to find some of these, I guess. Got the pigtail cap.
I was just gonna say that funky little pigtail. It's funny when you look at the cigar reviewers how in depth they get. Right, he's like, the first thing I noticed was, one band was satin and one was flat.
Yeah.
See, now
They get down to that. That's pretty funny.
I just don't have that kind of aptitude. I know what I like. I know what I don't like.
Yeah, I know
like what
it
tastes spicy. I know.
Yeah. I liken it to wine with me because, like, I can appreciate good wine, but only in the way that some people enjoy cigars. Like you said, I know what I like. Like, it tastes good, it tastes bad. Like, some are spicier than others, and, like, I enjoy them. But then, like, I'm like that way with wine. I'm like, oh, like, that was a really good wine. Like, that one was drier and fruitier and whatever. But, like, there are people, as you well know, sommeliers. I mean, they know by tasting the wine, like, what time of year and what field in what climate from which region and what farm and what estate that came from. Like, that's pretty amazing. I mean, some of us can do that with cigars. I feel like it's harder though with cigars. And I've talked to some of the best blenders in the cigar industry in the world.
Yep.
And asked them about this. Like, hey, if you smoked a cigar, could you tell me where all the tobacco came from? And someone told me, I forget who it was. I don't know if it was Jose Blanco or Manuel Ano or one of those guys, told me that they've done this before as like a party, like fun thing. They got all the blenders, like Benjamin Mendez, all your like outstanding people in the cigar blending field, and handed them blind, unbanded cigars, and he's like, dude, no one got it right. I'm like, these are the best people in the world when it comes to cigars, and like they can't. Yeah. Right. So like if someone's smoking a cigar, I mean, you may be. And what he did say is like no one got everything right, but usually, like, Joe, you're good at this as well. Like, you can go, this wrapper, I think it's a Criollo wrapper. I think this is a broadleaf wrapper. Yeah. Or, like, in the filler, I can tell it has some jalapa, right? Yeah. In things like, or maybe there's Dominican tobacco versus Nicaragua. So you can make some of those in a general sense, but it's hard. Now, what he did say was, if he's smoking I think they're called parejos, the individual tobacco. So before the cigar is blended, you take... Let's say the filler has 3 different varieties of tobacco, right? Different primings, different tobacco types, maybe from different regions. You take those 3 different filler tobaccos and you roll those into individual cigars. So like this one is just jalapa from Dominican Republic. And you roll that into a cigar. He's like, then your degree of accuracy, especially in master blenders, goes way up, right? He goes, also, like, if they blended the cigar, he's like, I can tell you, each piece is by smoking it, because they've smoked each individual component, right? It's theirs, and they've smoked those components to make that blend. The art and the skill is sampling all of that tobacco in its individually rolled cigars and going, I think if there was 30% of this and 20% of this and 40% of this and 10% of that, and if this tobacco was more towards the front and this one was more towards the end, it would blend into an amazing cigar with this binder and this wrapper. That's the art and the skill of creating a cigar.
That's incredible.
Yeah, the best way that I describe it is I have like 3 or 4 characteristics from each region that stick out to me. Like, I can smoke a Nicaraguan cigar and pull out Criollo 98. Like, doesn't matter the brand. I've been on test and blends for Alec Bradley. I've been on test and blends for a couple other companies. And that's where I'm like, okay, if it has that component, some sort of, I can pick it out. 3 or 4 blends. Awesome. But how I got there was from going through like the blending kits.
That blending kit you have.
The blending kits.
We should do.
So what are the blending? Talk to me about blending kits, because I'm looking at you two and I'm going palette goals. Like.
No.
But it's a training process.
It's a training process. It's like I have a blending kit in Paul's Humidor, right, for Nicaraguan cigars, and it has a map of Nicaragua and it has a region, and you smoke all around the region. So you smoke what that country has to offer.
Yeah.
And then you smoke the cigar in the middle, and you guess which one it is from there.
So then it's a test at the end. It's a quiz at the end.
Yeah, but see, I got the blending kit that I have in there.
This particular one,
right. I called the owner, got it spot on. Okay, great.
Nice.
But it's not really that hard because he's got like 5 cigars in his line.
Gotcha.
So it's different. But from that kit, Criollo 98 stuck out in my mind. That was like my biggest takeaway. I have a few others, but we'll move on. Manuel and Noah did another one with La Aurora. So now we're switching countries. We're in the Dominican Republic.
Yeah.
Was it the one
called Light the Legacy?
the La Aurora one?
The La Aurora one with Manuel and Noah.
But which cigar is that? It's not the 107.
It's a Preferido. It's those tubes.
What are they called? Oh, 19 Preferidos.
Yeah, it's the Preferidos that go there. So you smoke around the Preferito line, and then you can figure it out. I actually have notes because I keep notes.
There might be some. There might be some of those kits next door, Jason.
Yeah.
If you want to try one.
Yeah, if you want to try one, it's called Light the Legacy.
That's cool.
Jose Blanco, which is
he does a great one
which
too.
is how I actually met Paul in the beginning. Yep. Like we knew of each other. Jose Blanco's was a little different because his was a one stick, but it changed as you smoked it, and then it went through.
But didn't he have the individual components, or was that just one cigar he gave out?
He gave one cigar, and then instead of a barber pole, it was like a totem pole, maybe. I don't know. But
it was amazing. So it was
really
the same binder and filler.
Awesome.
The wrapper was 4 or 5, and so it'd be like an inch or so of this particular wrapper.
Yeah.
After that, it's another inch or so wrapped around of that particular wrapper. So as you smoke through it, you're like, that's Connecticut broadleaf.
That's pretty cool.
That's Ecuadorian Habano, and so on and so forth.
Nice.
And we've done one here on the Stogie Geeks. If you type in Alec and Bradley, I can pull the episode.
Yeah, we did one on the La Aurora, too.
We did one on La Aurora. We had Manuel and Noah here with Willie and whatnot. And, you know, like, here's the point, right? If your local tobacconist has that, like, go to those events.
Yeah.
Yes.
Because
that's how you develop your palate.
I have to do that. I love that.
It's really
I've
not a
actually
sales
lost it.
pitch.
Yeah.
It's really not a sales pitch.
Yeah.
It's an experience. Like
It's a training
Yeah.
session.
I like that.
Yeah.
I like that. That's
Now,
super cool.
I've kind of lost it because I haven't done one of those in so long.
Yeah.
I feel like
So it's almost you gotta keep the muscle memory. You gotta keep the
brain,
palate going.
It's palate and brain muscle memory. It's constantly training your brain to identify. Like when I smoke this cigar, I get chocolatey. Like we can give you the flavor wheel too. We should talk about the flavor wheel, right? Like, and my flavor wheel is not as developed as some, but it's basically, I say it's a wheel, so it's a circle, and it's kind of like a pie chart in a sense. So like one slice is your chocolatey kind of flavors, right? So is it more of a dark chocolate? Is it more of a baker's chocolate? Is it more of a sweet chocolate? And then your next flavor wheel is a wood. Right. So is it more cedar? Is it more oak? Is it
so you can go through and actually profile the cigar?
Fruit is
I've seen that done with whiskey. I've seen that done with whiskey tasting.
Yeah, they do it for whiskey, wine, same kind of thing.
Before you leave today, I have a flavor wheel for you.
Do you?
Yeah,
All right,
yeah.
cool.
So you can actually bring it, and they have one for like pepper. Is it red pepper? Is it white pepper?
Right.
Is it black pepper? Especially like within the Nicaraguan profile, because Nicaraguan cigars is pepper 101, right? So it's
that's why I'm drawn to them. Like
it's
I'm
just the region.
Yeah.
Well,
not in these Cuban cigars.
No. So 7 is the magic number. I lit it 7 times, and now it's like holding tight, right?
Yeah.
I'm tasting caramel popcorn, like that salty caramel popcorn, like the kind I can buy from the Boy Scouts. That's what I'm tasting right now. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like that.
That's
caramel,
not a ringing
salty,
endorsement.
Well, no.
Boy Scout popcorn.
Yeah. Well, I'm just saying it tastes like that caramel, salty taste right now. You know.
I get a little bit of earthiness to it. Earthiness is kind
of you're a lot further along than I am though.
Yeah. Mine's kind of that earthy flavor with a little bit of like a cedar after note in it, I would say. But again, that's a very basic.
The salty is weakening out right now though.
Yeah, I didn't get a whole bunch of saltiness from it. That could just be my palate though.
Yeah.
But you do have to train it, and we should do one on the show.
Sure.
It would be interesting. It takes quite some time. We might need an extended episode to get.
Let's take
through
an
it.
afternoon.
You gotta eat. You gotta eat. Make sure you eat right because you're smoking multiple cigars all in one clip.
And you got soda water where you cleanse it out.
I did one with Nat Sherman, and it's funny. I see pictures of it. And I talked to Stogie. I was talking to Stogie Santa, Mark, about it. Yeah. He and I were at the same table at that event.
Oh, nice.
At Melanzi's, where they used to have their events. Now they have a lounge, and it's beautiful.
Yep.
And we'll talk about our experiences there in just a moment. I think it's a good segue. But I went to one at Nat Sherman, and it was when they used to rent out this restaurant on a Monday. When the restaurant was closed, they would just rent out the whole thing. Now, it's not a cigar lounge. it's a restaurant. So they've got some couple of like smoke eaters that, you know, maybe they bought in the 80s hanging from the ceiling.
right.
And they got, you know, 80 guys in there. But we're doing what do you call that? A blending tasting seminar where we're smoking the, is it Paritos or Parejos? Paritos? What do they call the individual? I can never remember the name of it. It'll come to me. Someone will correct me. But we're all smoking the individual filler component cigars before we smoke the actual cigar in a kit that Nat Sherman had given us. So there's pictures of me. I've got 3 small cigars in like smoking them at the same time, because I'm like, if you smoke one of them at the same time, I'm like, that should be pretty similar to smoking the finished cigar. I mean, turns out not quite that, but I mean, it was because everyone is smoking more than one cigar. So I got 80 people, and they're not just smoking one cigar like in a sequence, like in a linear fashion. You're smoking 3 small cigars at once. I couldn't see from like me to Joe. It was like you had to like move the smoke out of the way.
Yeah.
And Stogie standing goes, yeah, I think I lost at least a couple of hours off my life that night. Like, I did not feel good the next day. It was not a good. I mean, it was a lot of fun and it was awesome experience. But we should. So you do the coffee beans and seltzer too. So you gotta cleanse your palate.
Yep.
And one of the, I think it was Manuel and Noah from La Aurora, has the coffee beans, and you just get a little cup of coffee beans, and you have seltzer. And so when you're done smoking one of the like filler components and you're ready to move to the next one, you take a break, you sip some of the seltzer, and you smell the coffee beans, and that's supposed to cleanse your palate.
Nice.
It's not like wine where you can taste the wine and spit it out either. Like you're getting that nicotine whether you like it or not.
Yeah, no doubt, no doubt, no doubt. You know, I just love those experiences, right? Like the game dinner.
Oh, game dinners.
The game dinner was the bomb, right? And
I'm sorry, Bill's going to have to come to the next one with us.
The game dinner was awesome. It was an awesome experience.
We actually couldn't get Bill a ticket. That's how they did 2 game dinners, and like you basically had to be a member.
I cried for days.
I know. I bet you did.
It was such a great experience.
We were at separate game dinners. It's not like we all went together.
No, right.
Like,
we did. We could only get.
And Jason.
I went to a different one. I went to a different one. Yeah.
You know?
But the food helped kind of cleanse my palate, right?
Yes.
Because I had a cigar in the beginning, right before, with the drink, and then dinner came. I didn't smoke a cigar during dinner, and then when dinner was over, I smoked another one, and it just helped cleanse the palate. And it's funny.
It was only $50.
Oh my God, I know.
A person. But what I realized was when you're sitting there,
it's $350. Really?
No, our bar bill for Doug and I was $500 because when you're in Rome, like we're eating all this fantastic game meat. We've got these awesome cigars, like because their humidor is amazing.
So good.
The cigars they gave you were really good too.
What did you guys get?
We got the Grotto box press. Oh, so Grotto did this one.
See, Oliva did ours.
Yeah.
Okay.
We got Oliva.
The Grotto box press, actually, Paul Cigars is phenomenal. And so we're like, oh, now let me see the bourbon menu. Because, like, we're here. And so for those that don't know, listeners, right, the Joyles family owned the cigar store and the liquor store that's down the street from here and my house. So they sold the liquor store, and Paul said, well, I'm going to go buy some other property, which is not too far from here in Coventry, or West Greenwich, right? And we're going to make a whole cigar lounge. Now, since they had all the connections...
Amazing cigar lounge, by the way.
Amazing.
That place is great.
But they have all the connections and the knowledge about whiskey, bourbon, and all this stuff.
Yep.
So they leverage that. And so you can go there and you can get a Lodge Craig 18-year, which is, by the way, my favorite. I mean, it's also like $40 an ounce or something ridiculous like that. But like, good luck finding that anywhere else, right? And they've got Weller, 3 or 4 different kinds of Weller, and every kind of bourbon and whiskey.
Totally.
I was there. I had a Glendronach 18,
and I am because you told me to get that, and I didn't, and I totally forgot. And I'm so pissed, but I'm going to tell you right now. My bar bill is glad. My credit card is glad I did it.
Holy shit, dude! We got the bar, but I'm like, Paul. Yeah, I'm friends with Paul and the guy and his family and Mar. I'm like, what a great thing for them, though. I'm like, happily. I mean, I couldn't do that every week, right? But like when the opportunity is, we all get to go. You're gonna go spend money at the bar, and I'm like, good for him. It was only $50 for the dinner. You're not making money there. I'm gonna spend some money in your humidor.
But the food was amazing.
And the food was out of this world.
Absolutely amazing.
Well, his son Tom did some of the cooking.
Yeah, I was talking to him for a while, and he told me. And
he asked me that. He's like, Paul, I know you do the smoking
Yeah.
barbecue stuff at home. I'm
Yeah.
like, did you nailed it? Like the duck
Oh my God, it's
breast.
so good.
Did you have the duck breast?
I did. Yeah.
Oh my God,
It was so good.
Oh.
It was so good. And it's funny because I'm talking to my father-in-law and he's like, "Oh, you're going to a game dinner?" He's like, "Everything's going to be in marinara sauce. I can guarantee it. Everything in marinara sauce." I'm
dude,
like,
they did
"No,
it right.
They did it. They did some Thai
Did you have the meat
flavors.
salad?
Yes.
The venison meat salad.
Oh my God, they did
was-
chili.
that was like the
they
best
did
thing.
chili.
Wow, that sounds-
they
that
had
sounds
a
amazing.
what was it?
Yeah.
Rabbit pot pie.
Oh, they didn't have that.
The
at mine.
rabbit pot pie was outstanding.
Wow.
We did. We had
Yeah,
duck too.
duck. And then what was the other one we had then? I'm trying to.
Cornish game hen.
Yeah, so
That was good too. That was on the
We're
phone.
not-
That was good.
Oh, you had the pot pie. We had the Cornish game hen.
Oh,
Yeah.
my
Passion with
God.
I would choose pot. I mean, the game
That
hen was
rabbit
good,
pot
but it
pie.
wasn't the standout dish.
And we
The
had
duck-
was perfect. It
what
was
did we
awesome.
have? I think it was elk lasagna.
yeah. Oh,
elk
yeah.
lasagna.
We had venison lasagna.
We
I
had
believe.
venison lasagna. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, it was
Elk
great. It
is
was
supposed
great.
to be
It was
amazing. I don't think
great.
I've ever had
It was
elk.
great. It was great.
Well,
Yeah.
next game dinner, we're gonna have to.
But we'll have to do it together.
I mean, they're not even. I don't know if they're planning one, but we just need to tell them.
Well,
Like, look, dude,
he told me he wants to do more.
Yeah.
He told me he wants
He
to do more.
should.
So now, I mean, you're blending great cigars, great
you know what he
whiskey,
should
and
do?
great food.
What he should
Holy
do
shit.
is open up the patio when it gets warmer out.
Yeah.
So you're doing it outside. Now I don't know. Rain could. It literally ran in his parade there, but like these things sell out like fast, and they put a lot of people in there.
It was packed tight. Packed tight.
It was
and then you have Oliva running around with like he's like the guy who's doing the
Todd.
the commentator. He's like, all right, I have an advent calendar for everybody. And he walks around, it's a cigar advent calendar.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
For cigar for him. I'm like, oh my God, this is awesome. It was so great. Great experience.
Yeah, they are nice if you can get to your local brick and mortar and participate in that. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? Because and it's also it's like memories, right? Like I go to different.
I love
cigar
the
It's the
food, but
experience.
I
love
love
it.
the food component to me.
Yeah.
Like, it's a great experience when we can go with friends. Like, I was there with Doug, who couldn't join us today, and Joe, right? It's great when you get together with friends. You got to have some drinks and cigars. But now we're also sharing a meal
Right.
and drinks and cigars. Like, there's so much
it's
to
beautiful.
experience
It's
and
beautiful.
talk about and
Yep.
experience together. Like, oh, what did you think of that dish? What did you think of that bourbon? What do you think of this cigar? Like,
Right.
it's an awesome.
But we talked about this on the last podcast, guys. Where we talked about how the brick and mortar is now the experience that you need
Yes.
to bring to the table,
Yes.
right? Because I can sit there and be jonesing for that mail call, hitting the mailbox all day long.
Yep.
But I'm not going to get what I got
No.
sitting there at a game dinner, drinking great whiskey, smoking a great cigar or multiple cigars.
Yeah.
Right, and having some awesome
Oh, it was
food
it was a
with
5
friends. I mean,
it was
it's
a 5-hour experience too.
You can't pull fellowship out of a mailbox.
No.
Well, that's like
Or
tonight.
a Zoom call, or meeting with someone for coffee or whatever. Like, we were there for 5 hours together,
Yeah.
which was just
Yeah.
that to be sitting with people
Yeah.
in person for 5
It's awesome.
hours is something we can't lose sight of as a society.
No way.
And
No way.
what better way to do it
Yeah.
than with fabulous meat dishes,
Yeah.
bourbon, and cigars?
Yeah.
even,
Great.
tonight, I'm going to a dinner, but it's kind of like bittersweet for me, right? It's the old cigar shop that used to sponsor my original cigar show when I
Okay.
was on the radio.
Yep.
Pre Stogie Geeks got bought out by another cigar shop. And
Okay.
Some of the old crew goes there,
Gotcha.
and it's like it's one of those events tonight. Whatever happens, like you'll never forget. You know, what I
You're
mean?
going to be going through the memories.
Yeah,
It's awesome. I
super
love it.
cool getting involved with your local brick and mortar.
Right.
for
I will say though, there is something super cool about being involved in some of the cigar clubs, right? Because I'm part of a couple, right? And for example, Hooligans of the Leaf, right?
Yep.
I'm part of that. And dude, we do global herfs.
Dude, he's got the freaking bug.
He does.
I got the dudes right here. Like I'm on the Discord right now,
got
right?
the-
But
he's
we'll
got the
do
bug.
herfs, and there'll be people from the UK on, and there'll be that's super cool too. But it'd be awesome to like get everybody together in person and do that. But
Yeah.
it's all those different kind of experiences that you can take
There's
to
a question in the Discord. Speaking of Discord, have you tried the Holtz Tatuaje box press? Holtz in Philly. I have not. My friend is a member there of Holtz in Philly. In fact, he used to live in Philly or close enough to there where he did a membership. Part of if you can get a membership to Holtz, you get, I think, once a year to place an order with Fuente directly. And so he'll order like Don Carlos, a bundle of Don Carlos Lanceros, a box of Opus X, like whatever rare and limited stuff, like they basically fill your order. But you got to be a member. There's probably a waiting list to be a member. And he's like, dude, yeah, once I was a member, he's like, I don't even live in Philly anymore. I think he lives in New York or Jersey or somewhere. Like, but he's like, no, dude, I still keep my membership there, really, just so I can place that order once a year. And I'm like, dude, I don't blame you.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's awesome. Yeah, this person in the Discord, Gauss says, yeah, it's a great shop. He's near there. Yeah, I've heard really good things about it. I've not tried their box press.
And go to the Brazilian barbecue.
Yo,
bring in the food.
Brazilian barbecue. Gauss is right. When we're talking about the game dinner, it is a very similar experience. I've got a lot of fond memories about going to Fogo de Chao with our security friends in Las Vegas because it's usually not that far.
Being the staple Portuguese, it's Fogo de Chao.
Yeah. However you say it.
Love it.
I said in my Italian Armenian say Fogo de Chao.
Fogo de Chao.
That's my soprano say.
Fogo de Chao. Fogo de Chao.
I'm glad it sounds less Italian on the show.
Bringing diversity every chance I get.
I like it. See, Paul.
But there's one of those in Vegas.
Yeah, there is. Yeah.
Right near
There's one up in Massachusetts somewhere fairly close too.
Yes.
That I've been to.
But we stay at the Tuscany, and then you can walk to the Italian place. What's it called?
Mama something.
Yeah. The Italian place is right there. But then down the street from that is, however, I say Fogo de Chao.
Fogo de Chao. Yeah. I like it.
And both those places, I tell you what, going out to eat in Vegas is really expensive. Both of those places are very reasonable.
Yeah.
And then, of course, we go to the cigar lounges after that. Casa Fuente. What's the one in Caesars called? Monte Cristo?
No, it's Casa Fuente.
No. Casa Fuente's in the Forum Shops. There's one in the Caesar, right in the casino near the restaurant. Near the restaurants. In the casino. I forget what that one's called off the top of my head. And then there's Davidoff, right? And there's other ones too, but those are the three. Yeah. I do like though the thing I got from Mr. J's Havana is I liked being all in one place to eat, drink, and smoke.
Agreed.
Right? When we travel and we go do that as friends, you're going out to eat here, and then you got to go to the. It's nice to have that all in one. I like smoking and eating at the same time. A lot of people don't.
I do not.
Some people don't. Yeah, some people don't.
See,
I love it.
I separate it though. I'll have one before I eat, and then I'll eat, and then I'll have one after.
No, I have a cigar going the whole time.
See, the whole
time. I smoke and drink and eat and all.
Yeah. See, how are you on that? Because
you have a cigar while you're brushing your teeth, though, right?
4 years.
Yeah, like pretty much. If I could, I think I would, Bill. And like as soon as I drop my kids off at school, I get back in the car and like there's a cigar lit because I'm coming into the office. Yeah.
My entire career with cigars. Every time I go to a cigar dinner, like I will purposely show up to the cigar dinner tonight like an hour and 45 minutes before to enjoy a cigar.
Yeah.
Because like cigar is cigar and eat is eat.
Yeah. I'm the same thing. And then it's cigar. I am the same boat.
I cannot mix the two.
I compartmentalize.
I do. Like I do. And it's for years.
Yeah.
People sometimes they're taking a bite and it's pairing. I'm like, dude, I'm like my stomach is like hell no.
Right. And you know the funny thing I did too. It was almost like coffee. So I had the Connecticut Oliva first, nice and creamy, smooth. Set myself up.
See, I'm not a big fan of the Oliva Connecticut.
Yeah, it came with the package, my friends.
When in Rome.
Sometimes
Sometimes cigars are better when you're in the element.
And I had it.
The rep is there, and everyone's smoking the same cigar.
That's true.
It was a good cigar up front. It was all right. It was good. I ate, stuffed myself, and I went to then I made the mistake and I went to the humidor. Oh no, I got a Padron 1926 number 9, buddy.
Yes.
That's what I did. That was
tell you what, the 85ths are smoking awesome.
Yeah.
They have that's what I've been buying every time I'm in the humidor at Havana Smoke Shop at Mr. J's. I pick one of those up because they're smoking incredible right now.
Yeah.
And actually, the other guy Dave that works in there was saying he's like these things are flying off the shelves, and I think because they're pushing them. If you're standing in front of the Padron section and you're kind of wondering, they're like, dude, the 85ths are smoking amazing right now. And they're blowing through them, which is great.
And actually, one of the articles is about the new the 95, right?
And that was my segue.
Yeah.
That was why I mentioned it.
Yeah.
It's tough to say what the blend is going to be. The size is going to be the size is interesting. A 4 3/4 by 60 petite Gordo.
Yeah.
Wow.
Fat chop. It's going to be a little fat chop.
I tell you what, though. You may poo-poo the big ring gauge stuff. Have you smoked Padron's big ring gauge stuff?
I have not.
They've got a 64 Maduro in a big ring gauge, 60 ring. It was one of their first 60 rings. Really good.
Yeah.
And so I think their 60 is going to be really good based on their track record.
Yeah.
Like if they're putting out that size, it's. I think I have high hopes, man.
I'll try it. What won't I try?
Right? For $30 a cigar, I mean, you got to try one.
So I sent you guys a message when I was up in New Hampshire a few weeks ago, right? And I went to one of the cigar bars out in
The one
North
right
Conway.
next to where I stayed.
Yeah,
Shenanigans.
right. Shenanigans, baby.
Cigar Shenanigans.
Great place.
Penny and Val.
Great place.
They're from Rhode Island.
That place was awesome.
Oh, that's their place?
Yes, Cigar Shenanigans in North Conway and one other location.
Penny
that
and Val? I didn't know that.
Is Penny and Val.
Yeah.
Yep.
So they brought out a couple of their large cigars that they have they'll have they'll have like a meetup there. They'll have everybody show up and they'll give them like a 9x90 cigar, and you spend like 7 hours there smoking the damn.
I mean, that's
cigar.
good. That's good business acumen right there. Right?
Holy shit!
Can you get
And then you
can
get like prizes if you finish it or something like that. It's
Can you
super
get drinks
cool.
in there?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's why they got people
totally.
sitting there smoking. Why
Yeah.
wouldn't you just, keep people there and keep ordering drinks?
I'll draw. I actually took some. He brought them out and showed them to me. I'll put some pictures up in
Yeah.
Discord. But holy shit, he's holding it and he's holding the cigar. It's like this.
Yeah, I have
It's
one.
holy
I have
shit.
one of those giants. Not that particular one, but I have a giant cigar in the
Yeah.
humidor. I just never like.
That's a lot of. That's a
not
lot of
my
work
speed.
and a lot of time.
Yeah. I keep meaning to light it up one day, but then I'm always like, so much other stuff to smoke, you know?
Yeah. Yeah.
It's a big commitment.
Asylum came out with that. They have the April Fools.
That's what it was. One of them was
Yeah,
April Fools,
yeah,
and then there was another one. Yeah.
Yeah, I just I don't have time for that.
That's a big.
I don't have time for that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like when you go to a Mexican restaurant, you can do a taco challenge, and you have like 28 tacos in 5 minutes or whatever. Nah, I'm good. But it's a great marketing tool because
Yeah.
then you spend some time in there.
Yeah, totally.
And then but
But that place is awesome. They do ice fishing where they'll bring in Steve Saka and they'll have like a whole ice fishing thing that you can go out to. They do events. They do
Yeah.
experiences. That's what I love.
Well, resume wise, Penny's going there, she was involved in marketing.
Yeah.
She had a marketing consultant thing, so she kind of gets the event thing,
Right. Oh.
and then Val knows some stuff about cigars. So if you combine the two, it's a really nice place to visit.
It's great. It's a great place.
Yeah, it's interesting.
I
You know,
love
they call it the family reserve line from Padron 44, 45, 46, 50, 85. That leaves out the 1926 that isn't branded as family reserve, but some of the 1926 anniversary releases. I don't know. I forget what you call those. Like the 40th.
Yep.
1926 40th is one of my favorite cigars. I think I might have given you.
Yeah, you did.
One
You
of
did
those.
give me one of those.
Natural Maduro. I think I prefer the Maduro. Those are some of my favorites.
I'm sorry to interrupt. Gus is saying you need to do squats before you do an 80 ring gain.
Totally.
You gotta limber up, man. You gotta limber up.
You gotta love the Discord server. It's cool.
Yeah. I just put the April Fools that they had up there at Shenanigans.
Yep. Yeah. Anyway, I'm sorry, Paul. Back to
I
where
gotta
you
see
were.
this. I gotta see this cigar now,
Dude.
Oh my god!
Hold on. I got a better picture. Hold on.
If you want some, I can come back on Monday.
It's like you're smoking a box of
Dude,
cigars.
look
in
at.
one
Hold on.
cigar.
I want you to see this next one because
it's ridiculous.
It's in my hand. And holy Lord, watch this.
I mean, that's like.
Check this bad boy out.
Remember when you used to go to the Paw Sox games and they used to give you those little bats?
Yeah, look at it.
That's what it looks like.
Dude, that's just crazy. But God
Oh my
says, like he
God.
says, you got to do some squats before
Right?
that. Like, yeah.
Look at that thing.
I got.
And
Move on to something else. I got to plug my laptop in. I didn't plug my laptop in. My battery's dying.
Uh-oh. Get another cigar, would you?
Yeah.
Yeah, well, this one's kind of fizzling out.
Yeah, the Cuban thing.
All right, I want you to tell me what this one is. He told me when I was there, and you got to tell me which one. You got to tell me what this one is. Joe, you probably know.
Oh, are we going through Discord over here? Like,
Yeah.
So, I mean, we really
we have
should
a
have
show.
I know we should have him up on the screen and show everyone on the
we
video.
should do a show
failed.
first and Discord later.
We have the technology. We have the technology to put these up on the screen.
I like to share.
But the Discord is for the listener.
I want the listener to
engage
look.
with
I want
us.
the listener to
We'll
look.
have them look after the show. Let's do the
Okay,
show.
fine. Be that way. There's 4 of us. You guys talk.
Yeah, come on, Bill. Talk. I have plenty to talk about if you want to switch topics.
I
where do you wanna go?
I can switch topics very
You know,
briefly.
and you know me, I'm very controversial.
All right, go ahead, Bill.
So for
Bill.
now I'm going way into geek territory by bringing up Star Trek, because it is important to know that there is now a cigar chomping captain in the Star Trek universe.
Oh.
I heard this.
Captain Rios from
right.
the series Picard.
Interesting.
Right.
I watched.
That goes into one of the articles we have about
So it
characters.
does. It
Sitting,
does.
sitting in the
Famous people
sitting in the
cigars.
captain chair. You know,
Chomping. Well,
he has an ensign whose job is to toss him the Zippo.
that's hilarious. So I watched season 1 of Picard. Are they on? Is it season 2 that you're
This
referring
is
to?
season 2. Yeah.
Okay. Are they almost done with season 2 or
They're like four episodes in.
4 episodes in? Okay. I got to check it out.
They're doing the time travel thing again.
Well, I mean, anytime you write a show that's science fiction, what a great thread to pull on is time travel, because it's infinite possibilities, and you can introduce any character you want, any technology you want, any setting.
One thing that was funny.
It's almost like cheating when you're writing a show to introduce time travel, right?
The series Deep Space Nine did something fun where in one episode, this is where the crew goes back in time to the Tribble episode there from the original series.
Well, of course, yeah.
But Captain Sisko gets a visit from these 2 investigators from the Department of, Temporal Anomalies.
No. Is that where they got it from? Well, Loki, that was in the comics probably. Here,
Yeah.
pass that down to Jason.
Ooh.
Switch
we
to
got?
the
What we
bowl.
got?
This
We
one
got?
like fizzled out. Like at the end,
Yeah,
it's
yeah,
like
it's-
unsmokable. Like the last third
totally
is like
fizzled.
literally unsmokable. Like
Totally
I
fizzled.
pitched mine. Yeah. Fizzled right out.
Yeah.
All right, let's try the Bolivar. Oh, so what's your favorite cigar smoking TV and movie characters? I swear we've talked about this before, but I think we talked about it in real life, because like there's like Arnold's, right? The real life actors and sports stars, right? Michael Jordan and whatnot that smoke cigars, but like the characters they portray, they got the classic ones on here: the Tony Soprano, Wolverine. Who else? There was a couple others on that list. Who's your favorite?
I'm totally going to go 80s old school, and it's going
Clint
to be
Eastwood?
Hannibal A-Team.
Forgot about that one. He always had a cigar.
Like, that's like me youngin' looking at some dude smoking a cigar in the military. That just brought it all together for me, right? Ex-military dude chomping on a cigar all the time. That was awesome.
I'm a big fan of the Godfather series.
Yes.
And it always surprised me that there wasn't more cigar smoking in there.
There wasn't. Now that I think about that movie, were there
Michael
scenes where-
Corleone smoked like a chimney, cigarettes.
Yeah, cigarettes.
But the author of The Godfather, Mario Puzo, he always had a big stogie sticking out of his mouth. So,
but never wrote it into his material, which is interesting. And you would
he
associate
may
the
have
mafia
in the
stuff.
novelization, and
Yeah.
I missed it, but
Scarface, right, is another one.
Yeah.
Big on the cigar thing.
Yeah. I mean, name a Clint Eastwood movie. He had a bunch of them where he smoked cigars,
Yes, yes.
But
Certainly.
yeah, no, if I go back in my memory bank and I'm like, as a kid, who did I look at smoking cigars? It was always watching the A-Team.
smoking a cigar while firing a crazy amount of rounds that hit absolutely nothing.
Right.
It's always the military generals, too. But that was a real thing.
Churchill. Come on.
Churchill.
Hello.
Right, but it was...
I'm ready to sample another.
Who did the...
What are you saying? Like the dude on Top Gun with the ship at the end?
No, who's the famous director that did the JFK movie?
Oliver Stone.
Oliver Stone.
Oliver Stone
Back and to the left.
did Rogan, and they were talking about the actual, in real life, autopsy of JFK and
Right.
how there was a bunch of government and military people standing there, and one of the military generals was smoking a cigar like while the autopsy was going on, and they asked him to put it out, and he said no, and he stood there and smoked his cigar, like in a medical setting, right, which is bizarre. But I mean,
Well,
again,
because
true
he
to-
knew, JFK was so obviously dead, his brain was gone.
right. Well, it doesn't matter at that
So-
point, I guess, right?
Another cigar smoker, JFK.
Yes.
Well, we may have talked about this in one of the previous episodes, but right before JFK announced the embargo on Cuba,
He ordered like a pallet.
he ordered Pierre Salinger, his press secretary, to go out and basically buy them
Romeo
all
and
up.
Julieta, from what I remember.
Yeah, and he stuck them in a vault and said, "Here, issue this statement."
Yep. And why not?
I feel like we've come full circle because we started the episode talking, Cuba.
Yes, right. I love Tony Soprano's got to be one of my favorites, right? Because there's one of the scenes in one of the episodes where his horse is sick and he's sitting there chilling out with his horse, right? Because he loved that in the show area. He loved that horse, right? And he's sitting there and he takes out a cigar, and like they show the whole thing, like he's sitting there and like the lighting on the scene is lit perfectly.
Yeah.
And he takes out his cigar and cuts his cigar and takes out his Bic lighter and lights his cigar, right? And every time, especially with Tony Soprano, I watch him light up a cigar, I get a craving for cigars. Like, I don't crave cigar. Like, there are times where I want to smoke a cigar, but like
Right.
wanting to smoke a cigar and craving a cigar are two totally different
If you
things.
want a good cigar craving, go down to Hartford, where Mark Twain's house is, and you walk through that house, and they just cigars lying around everywhere.
Yeah. It makes you want to. When I see someone on screen smoking a cigar, I'm like, I need to go have a cigar. Like, now I need to be watching this while I have a cigar. And that's what triggers a craving for me. Because I'm like, it looks so good. Like, I need to be smoking right now. Wolverine's another funny one, too. There's that great scene with him and Patrick Stewart where he walks into the orb, I forget what they call it, and he's got a cigar, and he's like, you can't smoke that. And he's like, I let you smoke in the house, like, but like you can't smoke in here. And Wolverine puts the cigar out in his hand and then regenerates, right? 'Cause he's a mutant.
I can attest to Paul, and I'm kind of shocked at that. I was shocked at that when we used to travel pre-COVID.
Yeah, I never really craved a cigar. We used to sit in the airport and shit.
By
I'm
like 10, 11 Eastern Standard Time in the morning, I'm like, Paul, fuck, man, I need a cigar.
Yeah.
Like, you're like, Joe, like, what the hell's your problem? And I'm like, dude, I'm going for a walk. Like I need, like I crave a cigar, like daily. Like it's just bad. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then you were like, Joe, I'm all set till, we're going out to a cigar bar later.
Yeah.
I'm like, no, Joe.
You don't understand.
And then Paul's like, but Joe, we have to film. I'm like, no, you have to film. It's called Paul's Security Weekly. It's not Stogie Geeks. Like, you know what I mean? So as soon as Paul would be on air and the client was set and whatnot, dude, I would bolt out of a conference. I knew I had like an hour and a half because Paul has a gift of gab, especially when it comes to security. And I was like I would go somewhere and enjoy a cigar. Like literally like go somewhere.
I think he meant that as a compliment.
No, it's amazing because
Pseudo compliment?
Gift of gab.
Gift of gab.
Gift of gab. I'm digging the Bolivar.
Mine's a little
Boulevard's
tight
good.
on the
I'm
draw.
digging the Bolivar.
How's your draw on that one?
Nice. It's actually cool. Like as I'm pulling on it, it's a cool draw. I'm getting light leathery, little creamy. It's nice so far. Good.
How'd you like the Naked Man?
The naked booth?
Yeah, the Naked Booth.
Naked booth? Naked booth was all right. It was pretty good. It was all right.
Seen a grown man naked?
You want to know what? It was he's actually not naked. He's got a banana hammock on and a cape, okay?
And a pair of Chuckies, which I think
that's right.
Dude, I think that's fascinating marketing.
Yeah.
Like
Totally.
like amazing with that stuff.
It was good in a canoe while we were fishing, man.
you go.
It's good.
Yep.
Hopefully it didn't canoe while you were fishing.
It did not. Actually, it burned great.
good.
And it was a windy day, too. Yeah,
Have
it
you
burned
tried the
great.
cigar ones by Pravado?
I have them. I have not tried them yet. I bought 2 of each.
Yeah. They are totally two different cigars.
Yeah.
And they are that's a collaboration with JC Newman. They are spot on.
Yeah.
Yep, spot on. I like the taste factor.
Yep.
Which was the rose colored.
The rose-colored one.
Yep.
Yeah. Yep.
You know, the other one, which is what, white?
Yeah, it was a white. Yep.
The white one was good.
Yeah.
But not as strong as the rose.
Yeah.
Was not as strong as the white label, but the depth and taste and transition
Of the rose one?
of the rose is really where it's at.
So yeah, I typically anything that I get from anywhere that I order online, no matter where.
You're right. That is kind of creamy. My first one was kind of
cool draw and creamy. But for me, I let them sit in my humidor 30, 60 days.
Yeah.
If I order it online, that's just I don't know. I got to do that because then I know it's nice and acclimated, and I know it's in the environment.
I know it's the right thing to
control.
do, but often I can't wait.
I can't wait.
No,
I got enough rolling through that I can now.
No, I'm like a kid at Christmas.
Yeah.
I got patience, I guess. I don't know. But I do. I let them sit 30, 60. Somewhere around there, no doubt.
Well, get on that rose. It's super good. It's
Should
ready
be
to
close.
go.
I should be close. To be honest with you, it's probably hitting about 30 right now. So it should be close.
I like how to choose a cigar.
Yeah, let's do that.
Speaking
let's
of
do
that,
it.
like, do you choose the one that you just ordered and it's been sitting in your humidor for a day?
No, never.
Jason does
Yes,
not.
always.
I do not ever.
We should elaborate on that because
I'm like,
because we have two different
like,
camps.
where did it come from? What was the weather in transit? Like, it's not that bad. Like, if it's not super hot or super cold, I'm like, yeah, smoke it right off the truck. But it's never the same experience smoking it off the truck. To your point, Jason, I think if you let it acclimate for a day or two, one day is probably not enough. A couple days, and then start smoking the way it should. I agree, though. 30, 60 days, it really kind of comes into it. And that's what it really should. That time in the humidor, I think, is good.
Right.
Yeah.
How I choose a cigar, I drive an hour and a half down here. I go into the big tall humidor. I stare down at the F-off shelf.
Yeah.
And I stuff my pockets.
That's where they're going. Paul's blaming me this morning.
No, the F-off section is fine. The other side, I don't know.
Wait a minute. Does
Like,
he
who
does he
smokes
like
a-
whiskey too? Because that red breast one.
Right?
Do
Do you fill your Yeti with red breast that you leave too?
I can't claim credit for that.
That was me.
See,
Good
you
Lord.
have two different camps though, because Jason and Paul are like from the let it rest, and me, I'm like, if you purchase the car, you drive it off the
It's
lot.
not the same. It's not the same.
The tobacco should be ready.
Engines work better
To
when they're not
smoke.
rested.
The tobacco should be ready.
I thought this article really missed the mark from Holtz. Like, it wasn't what I was expecting. I mean, maybe this was how to choose a cigar for beginners.
Yeah.
Like taste and aroma. I don't know if aroma necessarily plays into it, right? I think more. Maybe the first thing is like, what'd you eat today? Right? That goes into my decision. I mean, that is probably the number one factor for how I choose a cigar, what I'm gonna smoke at that moment.
Yeah.
Is like, what did I eat? Because if I didn't eat anything, I'm going light. Right. If I had a big breakfast, maybe I'd go something a little stronger. But I tend to smoke, and not everyone does this. Jose Blanco says he does the opposite the way I do it. I smoke light in the beginning of the day, in the morning, and during the day, and I smoke heavier at night. And he does it the opposite way.
Heavier in the morning?
Heavier in the morning.
Wow.
I'm like, dude, you must eat like I can't consume that much nicotine on an empty stomach. It just turns my stomach.
You get green in the gills, too.
Yeah. So that's the number one thing for me is time of day, like based on your, like if you've eaten not huge meals, but you've consumed 3 meals in your day at night, then I'm like, okay, I can smoke whatever.
So can
Like,
we refine this
Strength
conversation down, right? Because it's all about the variables to me, right?
Yeah.
So how to choose a cigar you're going to purchase versus how you're going to choose a cigar to pull out of your home humidor and smoke at that point in time.
Great point.
Right?
Great
It's
point.
different for me.
Sure.
Right? So for me to purchase, it's more along the lines of the tobacco and the cigar maker.
Okay.
Right?
What's on sale?
That helps too, of course. If there's deals.
What's aged? What's limited?
Sure.
Whatever the person working in the store tells me is smoking good. You know?
Yeah.
Because I really do think it's similar to wine and other things. not so much whiskey, because once it hits the glass, it's done. It is what it is once it hits the glass,
Yeah.
right? With fermented spirits, beer, wine, it can age differently.
Yeah.
There's a bell curve for how that stuff
Yeah, but
ages.
even for me, like with whiskey, right? Like, I probably won't go buy a Bundahaben because that's peaty, woody, smoky,
Sure.
licking char kind of whiskey,
Sure.
right? So I'll look at who makes it, what it's all about, how it's,
Right.
you know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
yeah, so I even choose that
No,
way. I have a bottle of Bundahaben, but I don't drink it often because I have to be in the mood for that.
You got to develop your flavor
Sure.
profile and also try different things. So I think if you're new, it's a great point, Jason. If you're new to cigars, to wine, to whiskey, you should try everything.
Yeah.
Because you're not going to know if you like it or not until
Right.
you try it. Some
Yep,
people
yep.
try Davidoff and they're like, holy crap, it's really grassy and I don't like that profile.
Yeah.
Fair enough. Like, I get it. It's not for everyone. I do think some of it is an acquired taste, especially in those smoky or peatier whiskeys. You may take one sip. If you've never tried it before and be like,
Yeah.
oh my God, like this is way overwhelming.
Right.
Which I get, but I've also come to appreciate in similar kind of parallel, the grassier cigars and the smokier peatier, because these are parts of the flavor wheel that are like really distinct, right?
Right.
Like smoky peaty, which are two different things. If there's a combination of them, like dude, you're smoking like dirt that's been, or drinking dirt that's been lit on fire. Like I'm like, but it'd be you get an acquired taste
sure.
To that.
And then
right?
there's certain times of the year, like I will take a glass of Bundahaben.
What is Bundahaben?
Bundahaben.
Is that like what your neighbor makes in his basement?
No. It's like you can buy a bottle of Bundahaben. It's a very, very peaty, like Scotch, right? And I'll have that in October when
Yeah.
it's fall and it's crisp outside, and I'm outside at my fire pit smoking a cigar. It's got to like
It goes well with that experience.
yeah, exactly it.
Well, I mean, this is very similar to what we talk about doing drugs, which is really funny to think about it. But Dr. Carl Hart went on Joe Rogan, and I subsequently read his book. And he's a scientist, Columbia University, and has spent his career studying the effects of drugs on people. I mean, one of the world's foremost experts on the effects of drugs on people, right? 'Cause
Yeah.
again, we can speculate as podcast hosts, like, oh, like
Right.
heroin's really bad for you. And he's like, actually, I've done 15 studies just like on heroin over the past 20 years. And he's like, actually, in like this setting or this, I mean, it's a drug that is used in the medical setting as well, right? It's like he is the world's foremost expert on that. And when he breaks down in his book is similar to what we're talking about in terms of your experience with drugs or spirits or cigars that we're talking about is based on, like, he talks about 4 or ish different factors, right? One is dosage. We just talked about that, right? Is the cigar really strong? Did I eat today? Right? That's basically you're controlling your dosage of nicotine, which is a drug that we get from cigars, right? And other types of tobacco. So there's dosage. There's set, which is your mindset. Like we talk about, Jose Blanco always says, smoking a cigar next to an asshole will always be a bad cigar. And we just talked about being in a game dinner and a cigar event, right? And how like you may have really enjoyed your leave at Connecticut because you're in that
moment,
setting.
in that
the
moment.
rep gave it to you, maybe described the blend. There's other people smoking it. You all want to be there and have a good time. And in that setting, hey, that was actually a really good cigar. Now, you light that up in your car in the morning on your way to work, and you're like, this isn't the same cigar I remember. I think that's setting, or your mindset, rather, and your setting are two different things. So your mindset is, are you happy when you smoked it, which is influenced by your setting, right? If I'm in a really bad mood, maybe I light up a cigar and I'm like, like maybe it cheers me up or whatnot. But like your mindset definitely plays into your enjoyment of these things and your setting.
Right.
And there was something else. Oh, like in drugs, how you consume the drug. I forget what he called that. Like, did you snort it? Did you shoot it up? Right? Did you drink it? Did you eat it? In cigars, that doesn't necessarily transfer, right? The transfer mechanism for cigars is the same. Not for tobacco necessarily. There's other ways to consume tobacco, but that is one constant that we can wipe off the table. You're going to have a cigar. You're going to smoke the cigar. You're not going to snort it or inject it, right? If you're going to enjoy whiskey, I mean, unless you're crazy and in college and you're butt chugging it, which is not recommended, you're consuming it the same way, right? I mean, some of the consumption is different. Like, did you put ice in it? Did you put water in it? Did you drink it neat? So there is a consumption aspect to it that could change your thing. But I think there's a lot of parallels right there that we've described. Yeah, not necessarily compared it to drugs like that as well, but again, there's some parallels there.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, I think the setting totally matters, right? And
so in terms of how you choose, right, you may choose based on your mindset and setting what cigar you want to smoke, what spirit you want to have with it.
And that's why I said there's a lot of variables involved, right? And honestly, it really is. And for me, to purchase is different than choosing to smoke at that point in time.
Yeah, like what am I in the... We all say this, right? What am I in the mood for? Anytime we go to eat something, drink something, smoke a cigar, what am I in the mood for, right? Sometimes I'm in the mood for a martini. Yeah. Oftentimes there isn't a mood I'm in where I don't want a martini because I love martini. Dirty martini is... and dirty martini with a cigar is fabulous. The thing that will... And I think this plays into this article that it didn't cover, right? Sometimes I'll choose not to have a martini because of the dosage, maybe. If I haven't eaten anything and I know I have to drive or do something, like I'm having a martini, like I gotta have a beer, right? Like you control
the destiny.
I'm at Mr. J's on a Tuesday in the afternoon, like I'm having one glass of scotch and then like I gotta go pick the kids up and stuff. Like you have to control that dosage.
That's a great point, because purposely, my buddy and I, who went to the game dinner, we got dropped off and Ubered home. Because we wanted to have a good experience that wasn't going to be limited, right? And we didn't want to have to worry about driving back too many whiskeys. We wanted to...
We just stayed there.
We wanted to enjoy.
We stayed there a really long time.
We did too, though. I mean, we did too, but we didn't have to worry about that end outcome, right? So we set it all up. All right, we're going to Uber back home, and we can enjoy ourselves.
Yes, definitely.
So that opened up the ability to drink whatever we wanted, and
it was only limited by your tolerance.
That's it, 100%.
Right? And you're probably over 40, which means if you get a hangover, it's bad.
I am. That's why it was great to start at like noon.
Yes. Start early.
I'm all about day drinking these days. Like
day drinking is
day drinking, because then you
got to know your dosage.
You do,
right?
Yeah.
Same thing with cigars. The tobacco and the cigar maker is an interesting one. I tend to base what I'm going to smoke on like heavy or light. Like I've got my Connecticut's is one class, my medium strength stuff, and then really everything else. So it's kind of like 3 categories for me. If I'm waking up really early in the morning and I'm going to get some work done, which I used to do more often, until the school schedules changed, right? And I had to, now my son gets dropped off really early. So I don't tend to you wake up at 5, but by the time you get in the swing of things, it's time to take the, middle school starts earlier than elementary school. And high school starts even earlier. But if I'm up at 5 o'clock in the morning, I want to get some stuff done. I go in my workshop, I want to have a cigar. Like I'm smoking like a Baccarat. Like I'm smoking a really, really light cigar, because that... When you talk about dosage set and setting, like I'm just waking up. I want to have my coffee. Right. Me personally, I can't smoke heavy when it's that early in the morning. Like I just can't. So I want to make sure in my humidor I've got cigars for that particular setting, right? And then post breakfast, I like to have my cigar. I can smoke a little heavier post breakfast, right? Then I'll maybe go towards my medium kind of stuff. Like a Cameroon wrap cigar is usually not really heavy, so I'll go for the Fuente Don Carlos or something like in that realm, right?
I haven't gotten to the point of smoking before noon yet. I haven't gotten there yet.
Dude, you gotta try it. Waking up tomorrow morning, you gotta wake up at 5 a.m., dude. You gotta go out in your man cave, and you gotta have like the lightest cigar in your humidor with a coffee. It is, it's quiet, right?
Look at Joe.
Birds.
Whoever said Joe wasn't animated lies. Look at him.
No. See, I am the complete opposite of cigars. I've received some cigars that come off the Black Label the Black Label Trading Company, only available at the factory.
Yeah.
And they're super strong, and you got to have them in the afternoon. Dude, first thing in the morning, empty stomach, I'm the exact opposite of Paul. I go from strong back down, and then I taper off. And then if I'm really, really drunk, which I won't be tonight, but like if I had a ride home, and like I'll stop drinking, hang out, and do my thing, right? But like, I would end with like a Baccarat or like an acid, right? Like I smoke Drew Estate acids like 5 a year, and it's because I only get drunk like 5 times a year. You know what I mean? And so I'm the exact opposite. I like the wake up, the perk of the tobacco. But you should try.
So you're black coffee in the morning and
yeah. I'm like
light and sweet at night.
yeah. Actually, it's kind of funny because in the morning I will do my coffee black, and if I get an afternoon coffee, like on the weekend, I'll just do like a splash of cream and maybe one sugar. Yeah, like it's just the way that my palate works. Sure.
Yeah,
but you got
to figure out how your palate works.
But either way, there is no correct way. It's
it's whatever
the answer
you enjoy.
Is the way that you enjoy.
Sure.
But either way, gotta smoke pre-noon. Tomorrow morning, I'm gonna call you on your cell. Now I have an 11-month-old, so I'm up at 5:50. So you know what I mean, with no alarm.
You know what
I mean? Like I haven't set an alarm in 3.5 years because my oldest is 3.5. You know what I mean? But seriously, you should do it in the morning. It's a different experience.
Yeah.
And pre-breakfast. Would you agree?
Oh, you gotta do dude. Yeah. I'm telling you,
coffee and a cigar. Yeah, first thing.
And in the summer when the weather gets a little better, to be like outside having that cigar with your morning coffee.
Like,
dude, it's so peaceful.
It's the best.
You're just chilling out.
So have you? So every time I think about it, I've never pulled the trigger on it yet to do it. But I always see the Room 101 breakfast in Portugal, and it just rings to me because I'm a Portuguese.
Yep.
And it's breakfast, and I'm like, and I see people smoking breakfast in Portugal in the morning.
Yep.
Is it a good cigar to smoke in the morning?
Yeah.
I haven't smoked that one.
Yeah.
Is it?
Yeah. The only cigar that is way off in marketing is the Davidoff Late Hour. That is an awesome morning smoke. Like I moonlight in a cigar shop.
That's a heavy cigar, though.
Yeah, it is a heavy cigar. Again. Thus my point, right?
Yeah.
Like
you're in the Jose Blanco camp of smoking heavy.
But either way, like, for those people who wrote success books, like, wake up 2 hours before your family and you'll become successful. Like, I'd have to wake up at 3:50 in the morning. I got little kids. Like, there's no way I wake up at 3:50 in the morning. But however, seriously, you got to wake up in the morning, have a coffee the way you like it.
Yep.
Choose a cigar. Go light. Try Paul's method.
Yep.
And then another time, go my method. And then see what you like.
And report back.
It's totally, and make sure
homework. Jason has homework.
I have homework for the month.
That's your homework for next episode.
On it.
And to be honest with you, like, especially if you're alone in the morning.
Yeah.
Right? Especially well, I have little kids. Paul has 3 kids, right?
They're a little older now, so.
Well, they're older now, but like, when it's quiet and you're by yourself in the morning, and you can, you go through your things, you can do email or read a book or whatever, like you start to taste, the cigar will taste differently in the morning.
Because it's your setting.
Yeah.
Mindset and setting.
Yep. Absolutely.
Take the dogs out there. You got dogs?
All right, I have homework. I do have a dog.
Yeah.
I do have a dog.
So when you go
outside.
fishing in the morning, you don't smoke at like 5 o'clock in the morning?
Oh my God, dude.
I don't though.
Like, sun is still coming up. I'm on my boat in the middle of the pond,
dude,
and I got my cigar, and like all the wildlife is just looking at me like, what the fuck is that
Do you
smell?
two realize the monster you've created and you're continuing to build?
Like, actually, to be honest with you,
fueling the fire. Put some more coal on that fire, baby.
Paul and I now cross like ships in the night work-wise, right? Yeah. But like, it's funny because like we talk about like how Jason, you got the bug. Like you got the cigar, but we talk about it off air all the time. Yes,
really?
We do.
Yeah.
Well,
you got the bug.
But you created that. You realize that. Though. You two are you're the Oz behind the curtain who created this monster.
But another
who's
great
maturing.
Time, let's go opposite of the morning cigar, right? To speak to the article about how to choose a cigar. So and I haven't done this in a while. It's weird. How my schedule just changes, right? Kids will change. Kids dictate your schedule, right?
All day, every day.
Late at night, dude, I'm like, shit, I'm tired. Like,
Yeah.
I'm going to bed. My oldest son now is old enough to like watch TV with me later at night. So we don't go to bed till 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock at night. And we're watching Breaking Bad together.
You guys are watching Breaking Bad together?
We're watching Breaking Bad
Look
together.
at you.
Dude, it's amazing. And I forgot, I haven't watched that show in so long.
Yeah,
I'm
either
like,
have I.
I don't remember half the stuff that
I
happened
was
in the
addicted
show.
to that show. My wife and I would binge that show.
My wife and I too.
Yeah.
And now my son and I are watching it. So like, 10, 11 o'clock at night, I'm like, all right, I'm turning it in. I'm not a night owl like I used to be.
Yep.
I'm sure things will change, and I want to get back to this. Do you have your man cave? Like, is it operational? Is that thing operational?
It's operational except for smoking in it. That's the only thing I don't do is smoke in it.
Well, you got to get to the smoking in it, because here's what you want to do. After everyone goes to bed, right?
Yep.
Everyone's asleep, and you can't sleep, and you want to stay up late. You go into your man cave, and you light up like a nice Padron, a nice Opus X. Nothing too... Now, this is, again, with setting and choosing to speak to the article, how to choose a cigar. I would choose... This is when I smoke my Petite Coronas, my
Robusto, the big
Robustos, my what were the ones from Viaje, the shotgun shells, like really small powerful cigars where I'm like, I haven't eaten enough during the day and I'm not gonna smoke it in the morning. Late at night I go put whatever you want to watch on TV, right? You got your shows you're binge watching, you got your movies, old school kung fu flicks is one of my favorites as well. Something just entertaining. We're gonna consume a little TV and have my cigar, have my scotch. It's, again, late at night, no one's awake. Everyone else is asleep. It's a quiet time where you can just like chill out and be like, I'm gonna have my cigar. Now, you may not go out there till 11 o'clock at night, so I'm not choosing my RC 233. So you got to choose appropriately. I'm choosing my smaller, really potent cigars. Awesome stuff. Now, what was the best was if you have company. And so Mark Jr., who used to be on the show, used to live like walking distance from my house. So we would text each other, and I'm like, dude, it's like 10 o'clock at night. I'm like, I'm going to consume maybe a little Sunday night football, and he'd come over and we'd have cigars and scotch
there you go.
Together. Fond memories.
That's cool.
Fond memories. We live a little far away to do that. You got to move closer, but you live in an awesome property, so I may buy property on your property and build a house.
There you go.
And relocate.
I have I know it sounds a little pompous, but like I live in like a bunch of townhouses. And in the courtyard has a water fountain. And in the summer, when
Joe gets really drunk and pees in the fountain. Just saying.
Sometimes. But like when
so it's like Joe in a meeting.
Everybody goes to bed. Now for me it's like 8:45. First one goes to bed at 8, second one at 8:45. So like call it 9:30, whatever. I'll go out and you can just hit a water fountain in the summer, and then there.
I have a fountain too. A fountain is not. It's
but
nice.
I do
it's a nice
switch
feature.
to strong then. Sometimes it depends if like I've smoked during the day or if it got into a point where when
Padron,
you have family
Padron
stuff,
number 35s. Is that a 1926 number 35?
it's small, right?
It's a small little Petite Corona in the 26.
All those little.
It's a great one.
The Connecticut version of the Padrones. I'm having a draw. I'm drawing.
Whatever. Damasos.
Damasos.
Yeah.
Like there. But like I enjoy that time as well. Because I can't do the pre everyone wakes up yet. Because my kids are too young.
Right. They'll be up.
As soon as the sun comes up, they come up.
They'll be up.
My middle one's up at 7 o'clock every morning, like clockwork.
Yeah, sure. Oh yeah.
Doesn't matter if it's weekend, weekdays. This is how it goes. During the week, none of the kids want to get out of bed. I'm like, time to go to school. Everyone like runs, hides under the covers. They do not.
Right.
No,
seriously.
Like I've really had to think about strategies and how I want to wake it. Like I'll play music.
Yep.
And they'll turn it off. Now I resort to just singing in the morning. Like I try and be as obnoxious as I can.
Oh my God, that sounds like my morning every morning too.
Trying to get kids up. Is just it's. But then the weekend comes around, and it's like 6, 7 o'clock in the morning, and fucking everyone's up. I'm like,
because they know they don't have to go to school.
I want to have a cigar and a coffee. Like F off. Go back to bed. Pretend it's Monday. Like what the hell?
It's a school day. Go back to bed.
I still tell my kids sometimes it was like the wrong day.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Go back to bed.
It's a strategy though, because my youngest one, right? He's 5, almost 6, and he'll be like, "Dad, is today a school day or a home day?" That's what he calls it, a school day or a home day.
Yep.
And I'll be like, nope, today's a school day. Get your ass up, kid.
Yep.
Get dressed.
Yep.
And then you walk in 20 minutes later, and they're still standing there in their underwear. Like, what have you been doing for 20 minutes? I don't understand how you kept yourself occupied for 20 minutes standing there in your underwear. Like, what were you doing?
In the same spot.
Like, what were you doing? Sleeping, standing up? I don't get it. I don't
Yeah, my
get it.
3.5-year-old does that. Is this today a school day? Yes. Okay. Is it show and tell day? No, it's Friday, show and tell day. What was yesterday? He's going through the days of the week. You know what I mean? And it's just so funny. Like, but Saturday morning, when you want them to sleep, they're not sleeping.
Yeah.
No.
Like, it's,
No.
you know.
This Bolivar
Oh,
is
I can
burning
see your dude. You've got a
incredible.
nice ash,
Dude. Thank you. It's a Portuguese ash. Thank you very much.
Look at that ash over there.
There's a lot of beans and rice for this ash.
Mine's smoking very similarly. In that, like, it's holding it.
smoking great.
These are really good.
Great. It is the polar
These
opposite.
are the Bolivar Royal Coronas. One I did light up was plugged. I could just tell it wasn't going to be a good smoking experience. Lit up the second one, and it's going good.
Amazing.
I'm really upset that the Cuban cigars are so expensive now.
Yeah.
I mean, they've always, depending on where you get them, people always complain about the higher cost. I've always been able to find them at fairly reasonable prices. I'll say we order them online, right?
Yep.
Privately, I'll tell you where the reputable places are to order them, right? And you could ask around and find out. It's like not a big secret, but those prices have gone way up, which is a shame because they get plugged. That's my whole thing with the Cuban cigars. Like, I'm going to order a box. I'm going to pay X amount for a box, knowing there's a certain percentage that are probably going to be plugged and unsmokable.
Yeah.
And I know, so then my cost for the remainder of the box goes up, knowing that a certain percentage, that percentage could vary 5 to 20% of the box.
Yep.
And so I know my cost. So now if that price is higher,
Right.
if I'm 5 to 20% that are unsmokable, the ones that are left, they're like, now I'm like, you know what?
Yeah.
I'm going to go buy a Padron or a Davidoff at that point.
And
I'll spend $30 on a cigar that I knew was going to smoke awesome every
you
single time.
guys have been telling me this since the beginning, because I remember way back when, where can I get Cubans? And you guys would look at me and be like, why? You can get great cigars.
Well,
like, why?
This is why.
Oh, it is. It's a good cigar. But going into it knowing that potentially 20% could be plugged.
And I do, Dave Garofalo does have like that one trick pony kind of thing where all Cuban tobacco is Cuban tobacco, and there's not much differences between the brands. Like, I think Dave is a very smart man, and I think, that's his opinion, and I respect it. My opinion is I slightly back off of that. I do think there are differences between them. They're not as large of a difference as there are in Dominican, Nicaragua, and in other cigars, right? In terms of like, the blending experience.
Yep.
Cigar from one manufacturer to manufacturer A to B, non-Cuban, can be huge. In Cuban cigars, you got a Bolivar, Monte Cristo, El Rey del Mundo. There's only so much variance they can have because it's all coming from the same country. Maybe different farms. Certainly, but it's all the same cover.
I'll say there's a difference between El Rey del Mundo that I just smoked back to back with the Bolivar.
Yeah, great.
Like, there's a difference,
but not a huge difference.
No, but this does not have the salty caramel taste. This has more of the creamy, light leathery taste.
A difference between a Padron and a Davidoff is huge, right? Difference between your El Rey del Mundo and your Bolivar. You get a lot of the same flavors, which is okay. I like that flavor profile, so that's okay with me, right? And some of your higher end Cohibas, but now you're getting to $50, $100+ a stick to get your Cohiba.
Right.
Good Lord.
No thanks.
Yeah, I don't know if it's worth it.
I'm good.
Esplendidos, dude, they're like $400-$500 a box now for an Esplendido.
Wow.
It's a good cigar and all, but holy crap.
Yeah, seriously.
I would rather take I would go Padron or Davidoff, to be quite honest with you, and know I'm going to get that experience. Is it the same flavor profile as Cubans? No.
Yep.
Anyway, well, that was an interesting article to cover. Along those same lines, I did have there was someone in a forum that posted, which brand do I need to try next? And I thought we would attempt to answer this person's question. And I do think in the forum, this is Brothers of the Leaf, BOTL.org.
Yeah.
The recommendations were really good. I thought
Okay.
the people who were responding were pretty spot on, and also because they were recommending some cigars and brands that I really like as well.
Okay.
But again, everyone's different, you know.
So go down the line. What were they?
So he says, look, I like to smoke Fuente Ashton, Tatuaje, Illusion, Corovari, Oliva, Padron Davidoff, Cohiba non-Cubans was on his list.
Yeah.
And he's like, what else should I try? I mean, it's a pretty traditional.
Yes.
Right. Definitely.
Your Tatuaje, your Oliva, your non-Cuban Cohiba, Padron, and Davidoff are larger manufacturer traditional cigars. I don't know what's BLTC. What is
Black Label.
Black Label Trading Company. Black Label Trading.
Ah, look at me.
Yep. Curavari, Ezra Zion.
That's where I want to go next.
Some of your more kind of nichier, smaller.
I haven't gone there yet, right? I haven't tried any of the Easies.
I smoked some of those back in the day. They're good. I haven't picked them back up in a long time. Curavari I have as well. They're pretty good. Like
and
every day.
Nomad's the other company that's with them, right?
Yeah. It's a provocative list. The list on the forum is a great first step for sure.
But he's saying this is what I smoke and I like.
Yeah. Where should I go next?
I want to try some different, as we all do. Like I want to try. You look at anyone that's into whiskey or wine or cigars, right? You got your like regular staple stuff that you're probably going to keep drinking and smoking for a long time, perhaps the rest of you. Oh, you just lost your ash. Yep.
I was trying.
You were trying to keep it on.
There's this dude online, and if you see him on Instagram, he's called Cigar Nut. And that mofo can have an ash the entirety of the cigar and then stand that bitch right up on top of itself. Dude is amazing. It's like talent.
They have
right
contests.
It's like
retired?
Is he what?
Must be retired.
Maybe.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, you're gonna focus. You're gonna focus.
You're totally gonna focus. Totally gonna focus. But
See, Paul, I would break that list down into some serious categories. You know what I mean? Like as far as like what to try, right? Like if you were going to go. So Stogie Geeks, make sure you break out the pen. If you're going to say, okay, put them into a category like Connecticut, I would go with your number one choice for probably 2.5 years that I know is the New Wave Reserva by E.P. Carrillo.
Yeah, like if you like Davidoff, Fuente, and Ashton, the lighter ones, Oliva if you're smoking the Connecticut, I agree, the New Wave Reserva.
Right.
Or New Wave Reserva. The New Wave's not as good as the Reserva's got some extra stuff in it. Agreed.
Yeah.
Right, but my recommendation on that level would be the Gilberto Oliva Reserva Blanc.
Yep, it's a good one. That's Oliva, but yeah.
They're like $4 a stick.
Yep.
And they're awesome Connecticut's. I mean, super awesome Connecticut's. But then I would also say, like, if you want to have a blast of, like, straight tobacco, like old school tobacco, and you want to get away from the traditional list, right? I would say like a Rodriguez Siri 84. And people are like, what the hell is that, right? You can look it up. Super cool company. They're out of the Keys in Florida. They roll it there in Florida. It's a great stick, right? But then if you wanted to go like crazy end, Stick Chaser Jason over here, right? You get into the Ezra Zions and all, and some of that type stuff there too. So I would kind of break that down into categories because what to smoke next? Like, there's a lot of super cool sticks that are limited runs that are really coming out now.
I think I got my nickname.
What?
You're Hollywood. I'm Stick Chaser.
Stick Chaser.
You've called me that like 3 shows in a row.
Dude,
So hey.
you are a stick chaser. You know what I mean? You know.
Yeah, a lot of the recommendations are recommending two of the icons, right, that left Drew Estate.
Osaka.
So you got Saka with
And
Dunbarton
Malillo.
Tobacco and Malillo
Yeah.
at Foundation Cigars were a lot of the recommendations, which I agree with. I haven't really, and I love Nick and I love his cigars, but like I haven't found like my niche in the Foundation Tobacco.
Yeah.
Like there's a lot of facings, and I love smoking his cigars, but like I need to come back to it because like I really want to find my niche because I feel like I know it's there. With Steve, who I also love as well, and love his cigars. It's the Mi Querida
Yes.
in the Onco Largo size. It's a Toro size cigar there is always a box of those cigars in my humidor because it's in that Liga kind of flavor profile. Because you can tell, I mean, Steve had Liga blended and had a hand in that process for himself, right? And so when he did the Mi Querida, I think he was going similar to the way Pete Johnson said, I'm going to do the RC series and make it like Cubans. I think Steve did the Mi Querida and I like Liga, but I don't have access to all that same tobacco. What can I blend together to have something in that wheelhouse? Its strength profile is much less. So if there's one non-Connecticut cigar that I'll smoke first thing in the morning, I will oftentimes reach for the Dunbarton Tobacco and Trust Mi Querida in the Uncle Logro size. I can smoke that cigar in the morning, midday, night. Doesn't matter, and I got a great experience with it.
Yeah.
The draw is somewhat deliberate. It's not tight, but it's not like loosey. Liga tends to be loosey-goosey with the draw. It's deliberate. I love it. I love that cigar. Again, I always keep a box of those in my humidor.
I'll tell you that.
I tell you what, I don't think Mr. J's has that cigar. And I'm like, guys, you got to bring that because I'm good for a box every couple of months. When any shop that carries that, you want to have Paul as a regular customer spending money with you, dude, I'm buying that cigar every couple of months. That cigar in that size is in my humidor, and there's not too many manufacturers of a specific blend and size that I keep regular in my humidor. EP Carrillo New Wave Reservatoros were one, and in this cigar I'm talking about they're awesome. Have you had one of those?
The Mi Querida?
Mi Querida.
I had Mi Querida. Yeah.
Gotta try it in the Uncle Largo Toro size.
Okay, all right. Now, for me, we were talking about eyeballing breakfast cigars, right? And me, when I said, someday when I grow up, I'll smoke a breakfast cigar, it's the Brulee. Is that one good? The Sobremesa Brulee? Have you guys had that?
I don't know if I've had that.
I always eyeball that. That would be a great breakfast cigar.
Well, yeah,
but I can't. I mean, Joe, you like the strong stuff in the morning.
No, there is no camp. It's what you like.
Yeah.
Like Paul said, Jose Blanco goes from strong back down to a lighter cigar.
But the other ones are good too from Dunbar. And I was talking about Steve with this years ago because Steve's a big fisherman.
Yep.
And what is the one that begins with an M that's not Mi Querida that he blended as like a... I don't want to say seconds. It's not seconds.
Is it the Muestra? Muestra Saka?
No. It's not limited. It's a bundled cigar. I didn't even think...
Omagog?
Omagog. Thank you.
It's named after the lake that he fishes with his dog, Lake Umagog.
And I want to say also that's like the cigar that he smokes when he's fit. Because he's like, I don't want to light up a Mi Querida because that's like my more premium offering. When I'm out in the boat, and you guys know this if you fish... you drop your cigar in the pond. It happens, dude. You put it down and it falls in the bottom of the boat. And the grossest place to be when you're fishing is the bottom of the boat. There's fish guts down there.
That's where my pickerels jump around.
There's always this layer of pond scum and slime. If a cigar goes to the bottom of the boat, that's it. It's out. It's out. Throw it over the side of the boat.
No doubt.
You're done. Light another. Take more cigars with you, right? So you don't want to smoke your higher premium end stuff when you're sitting there in the boat in the Umagog, and I'm like Steve, I really I get this. We're on the same level here. Right. If I'm gonna go out, I'm gonna take 3 of these Umbagogs, and if I drop one, I'm gonna let it right because he sells them in bundles and they're cheaper. And that's to me, and it's not like we're watching our cigar budget to the penny.
Right.
You don't want to waste the good stuff. Right. In a different setting. You want to smoke the right cigar for the right setting. And we know, when I'm kicking around here in the studio, right, and I'm working, and not always working at my desk, but I'm coming in here and I'm doing a podcast. Maybe we're doing something in the server room or whatever. We're working, running some cables, fixing lighting TVs and whatnot. I'll have cigars going, and I don't light up expensive stuff. I light up the cigars that are in that $4 or $5 price range that I got on closeout that... if I can't find it, everyone that's worked with me in the studio knows at least once a week. I asked a question. I'm like, has anyone seen my cigar? Where did they?
Yeah.
We got 3,000 square feet. I got to cross 2. I'm like, did I leave it downstairs?
You have your working cigars and your luxury cigars.
Exactly.
Kind of like if you're lucky enough to have a collection of cars. You
got your everyday driving cars.
You have your sports cars to go out on a Sunday afternoon, but then the worker car.
My everyday carry.
Right. Your everyday
your pickup truck.
My pickup truck. And then If a certain amount of time goes by and I can't find my cigar, I just light up another one.
But you said it right. You don't want to waste the expensive cigars. I think the ones we choose are all good cigars, right?
Yes, exactly.
Right? They're all,
or the rarer limit. Like I'm not going to light up
exactly,
something.
exactly.
Maybe it wasn't expensive, but like I can't buy it anymore.
Right.
I'm not going to do that while I'm kicking around the studio and losing it and going, did I leave it in the server room or in the kitchen or in the bathroom or on the front balcony? Like, I'll just go light up
Is
another
it
one.
the bottom of the canoe? What the fuck?
If it's at the bottom of the canoe, dude, you
gone.
know,
It's
you're
gone.
you're not messing with it. It's done at that point.
I do every time I walk in the studio, see abandoned cigars here and there.
That's Paul.
And you can find them. I can't find them.
That's Paul.
That's Paul.
It's like an Easter egg hunt. Like, shit, where did I leave that? Most of the time I find them. There are occasions where I just don't. Until the next day when I'm like, oh, that's where I left my cigar.
Yeah.
Yeah. Then you got to pitch it.
What about those weird ass shaped LFDs that you put out here, the football cigars?
So this was funny. It was more like I got cigars I don't want to smoke. Like, and I hate that because, like, I think it was Tim Muggerini who was one of the original. Me and Tim and I were the original founders of Stogie Geeks. And Tim once said, and I don't know if it was his or he got it from somewhere else, and people make this kind of analogy, like, when I die, someone else is going to smoke my cigars.
Yeah.
Even knowing that, we're like, yeah, I don't want to smoke that because once I smoke it, it's gone. I think it's the same thing with wine and whiskey. Like, once I finish that bottle,
there's no more.
It's gone, dude. Like, if I had a bottle of Elijah Craig 18, I don't know if I could keep my hands off it. But then it would get down to the very bottom where it's not even a full glass. There's a half a glass left.
A taste left.
There's a taste left. And it stays in my liquor cabinet. And I'm like, I don't want to finish that because, like, I still have the bottle.
Right,
like, I can still show it to my friends. Like, I still have it. I still have it. And this is the football cigars. I think I've got 2 of them from different years in my humidors.
Yeah.
And they're so beautiful and they're so rare. And the craftsmanship that went into laying out the intricate tobacco leaves and cuts. So they make the cigar and they put the football on it with all the different. You've seen cigars with the small strip of tobacco, the wrapper leaf that goes over the regular wrapper, like the craftsmanship that goes into that. And like, I don't want to smoke it. Like, it's too beautiful to smoke.
Yeah, I'm on from a different camp. Smoke it. Someone posted on Twitch, this is why you should only buy cigars, guitars. He piqued my interest.
Ooh, cigars, guitars.
Cigars, guitars, guns, etc. that your kids will fight over when you die.
Nice. I love that. I love that.
It's good stuff.
And so they have like a new football one, and I'm like, I don't know, like, if I got one, I don't know if I'd smoke it because I got 2 in there from 2 different years, and apparently they're amazing. I think I did smoke one, and it was amazing. It was amazing. LFD makes some amazing cigars. I haven't spoken a lot of LFD. You know, we should remind me, Cigar Chaser, LFD factory press 4s.
Yeah.
Factory press 4s.
I've got quite a few, more than 10.
Ooh.
Just sitting in my humidor. And I'll tell you what, they're probably in prime. Like, we should smoke them now because they're probably going to start aging out pretty soon. We should smoke those. We should do those in the next
I love
episode.
that you have a humidor that you say they're going to be aging out, so we need to smoke them all
man.
now.
We got to smoke them.
Because he keeps it away from me.
I love it.
Like, what am I going to do? Sit down and smoke 20 LFD factory press number 4s? Like, you're looking at 2 hours each, man. Like, that's a commitment.
You see me typing away, right? Note to self, I don't forget.
They're good. They're good. They're smoking amazing. All
right, we just found the next
you smoke
Stogie
them,
Geeks.
If you smoke those on your peak, it has one of my favorite kind of flavor profiles to pull from a cigar.
Yeah.
And it's that dark cherry sweetness.
Ooh.
Dark cherry sweetness.
Are those
Really
the cabinets
now?
that are from like Lito Gomez collection?
Lito Gomez, who's an amazing person. I mean, everyone at LFD is amazing.
Yeah.
Lito is amazing. His story is amazing. We've interviewed him on previous.
Yeah.
He used to own a jewelry store, and he got robbed at gunpoint and pivoted into cigars. And he started as like a dishwasher in Canada. Like, totally, so much respect for Lito in what he's accomplished because he literally came from nothing and worked hard.
Yeah. Those stories are amazing.
Amazing, right? Amazing.
Who the hell Santana de Crossier. I just heard his story about living in Cuba, coming to the United States, working
On the
his
boat? Didn't he come
butt
from
off.
Cuba in like a raft?
He
or something?
tried.
I
He
think
tried and got caught.
I interviewed him. Yes.
He tried and got caught, and then ended up going back. And like his dad had connections and got him to be able to go. He had to go to like I don't know if it was Sweden or Norway first,
Right.
and then he ended up coming to the United States. And then he went up to like Seattle or Washington or something and worked as a trucker or something crazy like that. But he came from like a tobacco family. He came growing up, on the tobacco fields. I just got 2 of his cigars. No, 4. I ordered 4 of them.
We've done
special editions.
We've smoked some DeCrossiers in the past. They're good.
Yeah,
They're really good.
I heard they're really good. I haven't smoked them yet. Again, I just got them. They got to sit for 60.
But the factory press,
Joey's like, you suck.
factory press, Joe, comes in those cabs of 50 or 100.
Yes, I tell you, yeah.
It's a giant. I don't know if you've ever seen it, Jason or Joe. It's a giant box.
Yes, yeah.
Like,
I've
it's like a
story for it.
crate. It's a crate.
Yeah.
I wouldn't even call it a box. It's a crate, and inside the crate, you gotta like use a pry bar to get the top off, right? And you pull out these trays.
Yes.
And I want to say they're 10 in a row or 10 in a row.
Yeah,
in the crate. I forget how
there's
there's
5 trays. It's 50. It's 50 to the
50,
box.
maybe 50 to a box.
Yeah.
I remember.
Amazing. Dude. I remember factory press 3s covered in plume. One of the best cigars I've ever
Really?
smoked, dude. One of the best cigars I've ever smoked. What was interesting was we started smoking those, and someone bought up the rest of the lot, and then like at a certain point in time, the factory press 3s were covered in plume and smoking like one of the best cigars I've ever smoked in my life. And someone bought up the rest of the lot, sat on them, like smoked them, shared them for like a year. But after a year, then they started to fizzle out.
Yeah.
So like when I smoked that cigar, it was at its peak. So like to say I have favorite cigars is but one aspect of that.
Yeah.
Like you gotta smoke the cigar in its prime when it's ready to smoke. Wine is the same way, right? So you got to know which kind of wines you keep in your cellar, how long they age for, and what's the top of that bell curve to drink that wine and smoke that cigar. Very similar in both industries. And there are certain cigars I've smoked in their prime where I'm like, it's not that cigar is the best cigar I've smoked. It's that at that time when it was in its peak.
Gotcha.
That's when it was just awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome. Tatuaje's had some... What was the one did for Hawaii? T110s. T110s in their prime. Viaje had the Skull and Bones, original Skull and Bones. Those were awesome.
Yeah.
And they had not that cigar was, all the cigars were great when they came out, but also reached a peak, which like even better at that time.
Yeah. You were talking about the LFD footballs and just the beauty of looking at the cigar.
Oh.
That Year of the Tiger, that Davidoff Year of the Tiger is
beautiful.
gorgeous looking.
Oh, yeah.
So that's
Gorgeous
the reason that's one of
looking.
the reasons I added that. Now I've talked to people that smoked that and they said it's not that great.
Really?
To be honest with it. Now I haven't smoked it, so I can't give you my
Sad
opinion on it.
trombone.
I am, right? But I'm going to buy one and smoke it and make my own decision.
Yeah. It's beautiful.
Because I love Davidoff.
It's a beautiful cigar.
Their year of the whatever cigars they come out with every year, some are better than others. And some, again, to my previous point, age better than others, right? And maybe that Year of the Tiger, which looks like tiger stripes.
It does.
I don't even know how they did that. Like that is...
It looks like that tiger striped wood you can buy. You know what I mean? Like,
but a lot of dog breeds have that
Yes,
tiger
yes,
stripe
yes.
kind of thing. And it's
they call
beautiful.
that like brindle or something, don't they, for dogs?
Yeah. Like pugs have it,
Yeah.
boxers and certain other breeds,
You're
right?
absolutely right.
It's a beautiful looking cigar.
Yes.
But people say it's not that great.
What's
But like
amazing-
maybe next year, who knows? Next year, the year
Right.
after, it reaches the top of its bell curve, and you're like, "Holy shit!" Got it. And usually,
Yeah.
what happens is when it's at the top of the bell curve, someone realizes it and starts smoking them, buying them up. Everyone
Yeah.
starts buying them up, and then oftentimes, after they're all gone, you learn about that. Oh. Like Davidoff Year of the Tiger 2 years from now, that was at the peak of its bell curve, and it's 6 months after it was at the top of the bell curve, and now you're not finding them anywhere
Right.
because everyone, like really smart people in cigars, realize that was the time to smoke them and buy them up.
Yeah.
You got to be ahead of the literally, you got to be ahead of the curve,
Yeah.
Right.
and go. I bought a box of those when they came out,
And
but
you let
this
them-
is like
and you let them
gambling.
sit.
But
you
this
are
is
patient,
like
and you let them sit.
this is like futures for wine and futures for cigars. You go, I'm going to buy that box and I'm going to hedge my bet that at a certain point in time in the future, and I may not know, I'm going to smoke one every 6 months until that point, that now they're smoking at their peak,
Yeah.
and that's when I'm going to smoke them all.
What's
This is the
amazing
game we
about
play.
that stick is like most of the sticks that we're consuming now that are new are the ones that have come out from when COVID first hit. So
Yeah.
so if you think about that, all of the older rollers who
Yeah.
are 65 plus getting out because of health concerns and all of that stuff,
Yeah.
running 2 shifts, half staff, all of that, that's what we're consuming now.
Right.
And the fact that that stick conceptually came out then, like,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? Like,
Right.
around that time and how they did that just speaks of the commitment and dedication.
right.
It's an okay stick. I think, honestly, this is where I'm with Paul and Jason's camp. Like, it just needs to rest.
Yeah, let it sit.
You know what I mean? Go and get 2, put one away,
Yeah.
and then smoke one now so you had it. But I guarantee you, whenever that curve is. But the problem is, Paul, you bring up the curve. How do you know when the curve is the right curve?
You don't.
I know you don't,
But you don't. And the reason I keep going back to wine is because our good friend Doug is turning me on to some really fabulous wines, and I watched that documentary called Sour Grapes where they talk about this. Right, the documentary is about fakes, which is interesting because we have that in cigars mostly with Cubans, right? People trying to fake Cubans, and most of us, even with like not the most sophisticated palate in the world, can tell Cuban cigar versus non-Cuban cigar and go, that's a fake, right?
Yeah.
And I've smoked them. I'm like, this isn't a bad cigar. I'm like, but it's not a Cohiba Esplendido. Like, it's just not, even though it was in a box that said Cohiba Esplendido and the band says it's Cohiba, like I can tell the band is probably fake. And even if it's not, because a lot of times they'll steal the real bands and put them on non-Cohiba Esplendidos and roll the same size cigar, right, with the same wrapper color. But like we smoke them and we're like, we know. Wine is interesting in that even sophisticated palates couldn't tell the difference because the guy, Rudy, was taking wines, like high-end wines, blending them together and calling it a really high-end wine that's going for thousands of dollars per bottle. So you take wine that's hundreds of dollars or maybe even thousands of dollars per bottle, you blend it together, you fake the labels, and you sell it for $5,000 plus per bottle because this is a super rare vintage. Now, some of the mistakes he made was like that vineyard didn't produce that wine in that year. And like, so real experts are like, that
BS.
I know that's a fake because that vineyard never produced a wine of that name in that year. Like they didn't. They produced it the next year and then the following year, but not that year, kind of thing.
Right.
And so he was faking it, and so fakes aside, it turned me on to like the similarities between cigars and wine in that we buy futures in wine. La Verite was Tatuaje's, was Pete's, because he's really big into wine, was his cigar way of doing that. And that cigar did reach a peak, right? You kind of bought it on futures. It was cheaper to make the pre-order than it was to get it once it hit the market. But if you bought it and smoked it at the right time, it's really good. Wine's the same way. You buy some futures are good, some are not. Doug brought a bottle in from a future last week. It was last week. And we're like, yeah, it was good, but it wasn't great. So like, your hedge, if you got it in the future, it's maybe half of what they're charging now, but still that was just an okay bottle of wine, right? Cigars are the same way, man. Like you don't know.
Right.
You don't know. It's hard.
And that's why I chase.
I chase
But that's why you
boxes.
chase, yeah.
Like if I've had a cigar from a shop and I've gone back to the shop and said like, was this box here last Saturday? And they're like, yes or no.
Yep.
If it's yes, I'm like, that's when I buy more. Because I'm like, it's come in. Especially if it's a blend that like I frequent.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yep,
I'm
yep.
like, yeah. Or if they're like, well, no. I'm like, oh, okay. I'm like, why? I'm like, nah, because the other box it came in good.
Yeah.
Especially if you smoke like what you like.
Sure.
And you kind of collect a lot of them. And some batches come out good, some don't. It's good stuff.
And what and these cigars like largely like don't exist. You can't buy the La Verite stuff now, but it was not borrowing from the so much future. I don't think you could buy a future in La Verite, but he did it so that it was tobacco from the same farm. Much that wine goes, I've got this vineyard. It's in this region. It's on this side of the hill.
Yeah.
In this year, that's what this wine is going to be. The next year, it could be a completely different wine, right? That's the whole kind of and so he did the same thing with tobacco. He said, I'm going to use tobacco from this year in this farm. I'm going to roll a cigar, and I'm going to release it. And it's one and done at that point, right? Like, he wasn't trying to do what everyone else does in cigars, and that is, I'm going to create a blend of a cigar, and I'm going to use tobacco from the same region, same farms, but the crop is going to roll over every year, and we're going to blend and adjust the blend over time so that your Davidoff Millennium blend, whether it's vintage 2009 or vintage 2020, whatever it is, smokes like the same cigar. And so they're tweaking based on environmental conditions. What Pete tried to do was go environmental conditions out the window. The 2009 crop from this farm is the La Verite, and that's it. Well, once it's done, then it's the next vintage. I thought it was really interesting. And I was talking with Dave and Stogie Santa from Mr. J. Savant's shop about that, and they're like, yeah, it was a really good cigar. Yeah. I'm like, I'd love to kind of try and smoke that now, but like, again, kind of done. Like the RC series.
Do you follow that? Like, do you personally like follow that? I know this is like an off topic, but like I don't know, like if I find a brand that I like and I'm kind of into, and I want to go deeper into the brand, like I try to follow that. And then sometimes it bears fruit and you explore and it becomes good. Like, do you have any like favorites that you like follow, or do you just kind of go all over the map?
I mean, I try, not so much recently, but I want to get back to, picking what we used to call bell of the ball, right? So you get a manufacturer that's got a brand, and in that brand there's 5 different sizes. I want to try all 5 different sizes, pick which one's the best, that's smoking good now. Maybe I buy a box and I hedge my bets that I'm going to age that for a certain amount of time based on the experience I had with that cigar, right? Because I think this is the best. Because don't forget, every size of cigar has a slightly tweaked blend, right? Because you can't put the same amount of tobacco in a Lancero as you can in a 60 ring. So back to my previous example where the blender's going, I think this blend is 20% this tobacco, 20% this tobacco, 60% this tobacco, right? When you get down to a Lancero, how do you manage that? Like in a smaller ring gauge, maybe 25% that tobacco, 15% this tobacco, and then 60% this tobacco, right? Because it's a smaller ring gauge, so I got to make some.
You have to adjust the recipe
decisions. Therefore, every different Vitola in a line is gonna have a slightly different experience and flavor profile. You find the one you like. Like for me and Mi Querida, it's the Onco Largo. And I haven't been able to age that one. But I probably should buy a box and age that one. However, Saka's done a great job in keeping that cigar consistent. So do I really need to age it? If I like the way it smokes when I buy that box and I smoke through the box and I buy the next one and I have the same experience and it's enjoyable, do I need to hedge my bets and put some away? Maybe not. It'd be interesting to see how that cigar would do, with more age. I just can't keep it in my humidor long enough to do that. So,
do you have any favorite? Have you gotten to that point yet where you?
See, I haven't gotten to the point to like, and I was just going to say that the bell of the ball, right? Finding that perfect cigar at the perfect size. I haven't gotten to that point.
It's an expensive endeavor.
I can imagine.
You rack up quite a bill.
Sure. But you've told me that. You guys have told me from the beginning that you're going to find that cigar that you love, and then you're going to find that perfect size.
What you need to do is find the person that smoked every different Vitola and gone this
with a similar palate to what you have, though. I would assume, right?
Yeah.
That's what you got to really hone in on.
Yeah, there's a couple in all different cigar shops that I go to. There's a couple of people I talk to who have the same or different palates than and we compare stuff.
And the bell of the ball is a personal thing, not like a community thing, right? Like,
agreed.
For sure.
Yeah,
it's
the
a
one you
personal
like.
thing.
Some people may like the Lancero. Other people may like the Robusto.
Right.
But usually I feel like there's a consensus and a winner that emerges. From a line like this. It's like the best representation of the blend, because the blend is the blend as I've described, but there's usually the best representation of the blend that's kind of the semi-unanimous winner. Like that blend in this size is the best representation of the blend. There's a lot of smoking that needs to go on to get there from a lot of people to get to that point. I agree, but yeah, it's hard.
Some
it's hard,
companies, it's easier to find the belle of the ball because they're pinpointed as to where they want to go with the blend.
Yep.
And other companies that are all over the map with themselves, product-wise, it's a little tougher.
So there are some blenders who go into it saying this is going to be the one.
Oh, yeah. I've done a Stogie Geeks interview with Nessa Placencia, and, he said, and I quote, most of the sizes, when they create sizes for them or for other companies, are blend to the Toro size.
Yep.
So if you want to try a traditional stick of what it was intended for that blend, then you would have to
blend
go
it to the Toro.
But if you're going to go bigger or smaller or whatnot, but I naturally go smaller than Toro.
Yeah.
So I like smaller than Toro. I'll smoke Toros.
Yeah, me too.
You know what I mean?
Me too.
But I naturally like the smaller ring gauge. Lanceros never get their credit with retailers. I've been saying this for 4 years on this show.
Yeah.
Go to a brick and mortar with cash and get yourself a discount with Lanceros. Seriously. Because every single retailer would be like, yeah, you want to buy the rest of the box? I'll give it to you for this.
Really?
Yeah, because
they just are selling them.
Because Lanceros historically do not sell in the retail environment as fast as the Toro, Robusto, Churchill.
Yeah.
That
makes sense.
So, but sometimes those Lanceros are super tasty for sure.
I really want to try this cigar. It's got an 87 from Half Wheel, and I haven't read the full review, but it's the Davidoff Winston Churchill Limited Edition 2022 cigar, Ecuadorian wrapper, Mexican San Andreas binder. You ready for this? Dominican fillers. Pilote Mejorado Viso, San Vicente Mejorado Seco, Viso, and Nicaraguan Condega from Esteli. Yeah, that's some interesting fillers in there. It's a 5 7/8 inch by 61 double perfecto. They retail for $34 a piece, box of 10 being $340. They were released in February of this year. This is a size that I love from Davidoff. The Anniversario double perfecto from Davidoff is one of my favorite cigars to smoke. Pricey, but I tell you what, you buy a box of those, they smoke so consistently. It's your perfect little morning cigar. Expensive, but I tell you what, I don't think I've ever had a bad one. They just and they make that same or very similar size in the Colorado Claro. Davidoff Colorado Claro. Amazing size. That same double perfecto. So to see that, again, we go back to the size and bell of the ball. I think the bell of the ball in the Anniversario is the double perfecto. Yeah. I think the bell of the ball, it's a toss-up for me in the Colorado Claro. I like the Special T, which is a pyramid. And I also like the double perfecto. And so now to see a Winston Churchill in that size, I'm intrigued.
Yeah.
I love smoking this size Vitola. It tends to be just blended perfectly.
And then it says in here that it's supposed to be a combination of the regular Churchill, Winston Churchill, in the late hour,
which are both some of my favorite cigars. Yep. They're awesome cigars. I can't wait to try this one.
Yeah, we'll have to try it on the show.
I don't know if I. Well, we could buy a box and try it on the show. Screw it. I mean, you only live once. Again, you're gonna die, and someone else is gonna smoke them.
That's right.
Do you want to die knowing you never tried this cigar? Screw it. Let's spend $340. Let's buy a box.
Let's do it. I'll throw in.
Smoke them. We'll smoke them on the show.
I'll throw in.
We'll split it. We'll do a box split on them.
Let's do it.
I'll work on getting a box. If you guys want to try this, I'll work on getting a box.
Right.
I think it's intriguing to me because I love the Winston Churchill blend, and I love this size Vitola.
Yeah.
And there's been other limiteds too. This one looks, and the box looks, I mean, the presentation, everything looks amazing.
Yeah.
They're just classy. Very classy.
So why don't we end the show with what you'd like to smoke next? That was Paul's.
What do I
I'm also going to throw
and by
out
the
there,
way, we should go
I
in
would
on that
love
box.
for all of us to have in hand a Tatuaje RC 184 because I love for you all to try that cigar. That cigar would last the whole show.
Yeah.
So if you're out there listening and you know where we could get some, we would love to do that as for purposes of the show. We'd also like These cigars we should be able to get. Winston Churchill Limited Edition 2022. I know a few Davidoff retailers here locally that I'll hit up and be like, I want a box of these. They'd probably be happy to sell it to us, hopefully. Jason?
Oh, what am I on next? I think I may go with either that Rose Cigar 1 that I haven't tried yet, and I also just got a Cuban daiquiri from the LCA that I want to try.
Had both.
Yeah, what'd you think of the daiquiri? Because that one is like,
it's good.
Do they have them for different kinds of daiquiri?
Nah,
Strawberry, vanilla,
Banana.
pina colada, banana.
I'm a little suspect on that whole let's release a bunch of sticks every month and do that.
Yeah.
I'm business wise, but that's certainly another show.
yeah,
But they've had some really good hits in their repertoire, and they've had more hits than misses.
Sure.
And if you compare it to baseball, you only got to do 30% well. To be good.
Does the daiquiri fall in the 30%?
The daiquiri does. It's one of those things. Actually, if you're going there, you know how they come up with the 4-pot watch series?
Yes.
The last one is
which one? The root beer one?
AP. No.
Oh, the AP. Yeah. No.
AP is
oh, it's a silver. It's the silver.
Yeah, the AP
silver
is the Bella Ball.
Is it?
Yep.
Oh, good. I ordered a few from our buddy.
Yeah, definitely there for sure.
All right, cool.
There's another one I had from Pete Johnson recently because you mentioned him.
I had one in there.
Recent, and I'm like, oh my God.
Hold on, Joe. I had one in there coming out from Tatuaje. Well, the Cojites were really good, by the way. Those are those short Robustos. There's 3 different ones. There's a Capa Especial, a Habano, which I think is the one I really like, and one other one. Have you tried the Cojites, Jason?
No.
You got to chase that one.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay.
But the other one that's coming out is a La Riqueza limited edition.
Yeah, I haven't had that yet.
I haven't tried that one yet. Either.
That's over at the Regency.
Is it? Okay.
Yeah. Yep.
Can I tell you one that I've already had, but I want to have it again really fast?
Yeah.
Sure. Yeah.
I want the Rojas street taco.
Dude,
Barbacoa.
I'll give it to you before you walk out.
Oh, buddy.
Dude, actually, my answer
Yeah.
is Rojas here in the Northeast. I know Texas, for you Texas listeners, I got a bunch of them. They're coming out here in the Northeast with the unfinished business from Rojas.
Yes, I saw that.
It's incredible.
Yeah.
And not for nothing, this company...
I'm digging Rojas cigars, man. I'm digging them.
I have never been a fanboy on Stogie Geeks.
Yeah.
I am a freaking closet fanboy of
Rojas? I'm digging, dude.
I'm smoking Rojas right now.
Are you?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, the Cubans didn't do it for me. But if you want a street taco,
digging,
I have one for you on your way out the door.
I'm digging this Bolivar, by the way.
Oh, yeah, I loved it.
This Bolivar was great.
It smoked great. It smoked incredibly well. Yeah.
Rojas did something with Pravada.
They've done a few...
Which I think is going to be pretty interesting.
Yeah.
You know.
But man, I'm digging the Rojas. I'm digging them.
Yeah. Well, other than Pravada, what's your other club that's your kind of go-to for new, snappier? I say snappier, which means like new to the market sticks. Other than like Ezra Zion.
Well, I'll always hit up that luxury cigar club.
Okay, yeah.
I hit them up too for anything new. So and in the Nomads, I want to jump into the Nomads because they do a lot with them.
Yep. If you ever
Black Label, dude, I want to try some Black Label. I haven't hit them yet either.
Black Label. I have said this right around when Cigar Aficionado releases the top 25.
Yeah.
It's usually in January, and I usually talk about this around like New Year's or so.
Yeah.
On Stogie Geeks, I've always talked about like the top 5 companies that like each host is excited about for next year. In 2017, 18, and 19, Black Label has been top of list.
Yeah.
Like I'm
That's
super
awesome.
into this stuff. They've come up with some 2 new blends, the Intergalactic and something Morta.
Planetary.
Yeah, actually, it's funny. It's funny because I think of the Beastie Boys song for sure. Taste is awesome. Construction's a little suspect.
Coming up next, hopefully we get Tatuaje RC 184 and the new Davidoff Winston Churchill Limited 2022. Remind me, we're going to be on the hunt for those. We're going to seek them out, hopefully smoke them on the show, and give you our opinions of that. Thank you, everyone, for listening to this edition of the Stogie Geek Show. We'll see you next time.